all the reads first, and then that way we've done them? Okay. Josh, are we on?
Yeah.
All right, tonight's game is brought to you by the Arizona Interscholastic Association. They'd like to recognize and thank all the sponsors involved in this year's state championships. Gatorade. Gatorade knows every victory starts from within. Within is a determination to come up big when it matters most, but it also takes training and fuel. Win from within.
Wilson Sporting Goods. Wilson Sporting Goods is pleased to be the official ball of the Arizona Interscholastic Association for all state playoffs and is proud to have the Solution Basketball on the court today. Wilson, what's your sport?
ACU, Arizona Christian University, is a non-profit Christian university in Phoenix with over 35 programs of study, 16 collegiate athletic teams, including Arizona's only small college football program, as well as intramural and club sports. Academic, athletic, and need-based scholarship are available. If you're a high school student interested in learning more about ACU, please visit www.arizonachristian.edu.
The Better Business Bureau. Nominate your favorite student athlete that embodies integrity and sportsmanship for Better Business Bureau's Ethical Athlete Award. Pick up your phone and nominate them at www.athletes.arizonaABBB.org.
NextCare Urgent Care. NextCare Urgent Care is proud to be the preferred health care partner of the AIA, serving the Valley since 1993 with 30 clinics in Arizona and over 100 locations nationwide. We're here for you with quality health care you can trust when you need it most. Locations are open 7 days a week with extended hours, and we can help save your family time and money with our on-site labs and x-rays. NextCare Urgent Care, when feeling great, can't wait.
Max Preps. Max Preps is the official photographer of the Arizona Interscholastic Association. To view and purchase high-quality action photos from today's event, please visit www.maxpreps.com.
Roasted Donuts. The apple fritter will change your life. The glazed classic is as good as they come. The eclair is worth every wonderful calorie. We're talking, of course, about a little donut shop that's taken the Valley by storm and now operates 12 locations with 2 and probably more on the way. Bosa is a proud partner of the AIA.
Whataburger. Whataburger has proudly served a bigger, better burger since 1950. Whataburger is proud supporter of Arizona High School athletics. Over 24 hours a day and here to make you say, Whataburger.
Justin's champions are known by the ring they wear. Justin's is the official provider of the AIA. To contact visit www.365.com/Justins.
Famous barbecue, Compton style barbecue, and winner of 7 awards. Famous Davis proud to be the official barbecue of the Arizona Interscholastic Association and supporting student athletes across the state of Arizona. Famous Davis, 4 Valley locations, as well as delivery and free service catering to make your next event delicious, memorable, and stress-free. Are they going to the Star Spangled Anthem? Alright, we can keep going here.
Toyota, your Valley Toyota dealers are proud to be supporting partners of the AIA. Championship season means Toyota-a-thon is on. To score a great deal on a new Toyota, hurry into any of your 10 Valley locations or visit www.valleytoyotadealers.com.
Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is the presenting sponsor of today's game. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers is the official chicken finger and proud supporter of the AIA. Visit www.raisingcanes.com for a location near you.
TicketTap, the official ticketing partner of the AIA. Register and buy tickets to the best events. TicketTap, skip the line. Buy tickets online at www.tickettap.com.
Keep going. Papa John's. Papa John's is a proud supporter of the Arizona Interscholastic Association. Use promo code AIA and receive 40% off your online order. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Mayo Clinic. Oh, never mind. back to our sponsors, Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine team in Phoenix includes specialists from multiple disciplines who provide comprehensive and
Personalized care.
personalized care to athletes of all levels. These specialists collaboratively address each athlete's training, injury, and performance concerns. What is it?
Related.
Related to sports and exercise activities. To make an appointment, please visit Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine online.
Sprouts believes healthy living is a journey and every meal is a choice. Sprouts wants to inspire, educate, and empower every person to eat a healthier and live a better life. This isn't just a mission, it's our passion.
Addicts. Addicts is the official custom uniform provider of the AIA, aiming to assist schools and districts to branding themselves in a unique way through custom athletic apparel. With Addicts, you can personify purpose. Visit addictsgear.com to learn more today.
Child Help. The AIA and Child Help are teaming together to end child abuse and bullying in Arizona. Child Help, speak up, be safe for athletes, helps children and teens learn the skills to prevent or interpret cycles of neglect, bullying, and child abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual. For more information on Child Help and their Speak Up, the Be Safe for Athletes program, please visit www.childhelp.org.
Embry-Riddle University, proud partner of the AIA, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University would like to congratulate all of today's participants.
azpreps365.com game schedule. For the latest stories, scores, and live streaming videos, be sure to go to www.azpreps365.com every day. See who's advancing and who's heading home. Follow your team all the way to the championship. It's the exclusive home to Arizona high school sports. Again, that's www.azpreps365.com.
AIA Champions event. Students, coaches, administrators, officials, and schools, are you waiting to be recognized and win cash, grants, scholarships, and prizes? The AIA Championships event will recognize individuals and schools across the state of Arizona for exemplifying character and honor in their outstanding achievements on and off the field. To be nominated for an award, visit the AIA Champions section of the AIA website today at www.aiaonline.org.
And AIA AZ Preps 365. Be sure to join us every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 for AIA AZ Preps 365. It's the only show of its kind in the Valley talking about high school sports and the stories and topics that affect high school students and athletes each week. Go beyond the scores and stats every Saturday only on AIA AZ Preps 365, live on 1580 AM and 95.9 FM, The Fanatic. Those are your sponsors for tonight's game. Tonight's game is brought to you by the Arizona Interscholastic Association. Jason Miller, along with Jacob Greenberg and McVeigh Butler III, and we have a huge game here tonight, boys. The Marana Tigers, coming in at 9-2 on the season, are riding a 9-game winning streak. They went on the road last week to Verado, and they came away victorious in a close one in week 1 of the playoffs. The Cats, you guys called it last Friday night, and they were triumphant over Fairfax High School 24-6. So we know that the Bobcats are undefeated coming in at 11-0, and Marana Tigers are 9-2. These teams match up very well with each other. They both like to throw the football, and they both like to score points in bunches. Jacob, what are you expecting here tonight?
Well, with Marana, they lost in their first week, they lost in their second week, and we hear from different people that they're the best 0-2 team in Arizona. And they've definitely shown that, winning their last 9 games, and their offense has put up a lot of points. Every single one of their games, high-scoring games.
Definitely a lot of confidence that Marana should have going into this game. I will remind you that their first loss of the season was to Cienega, but I think they've taken it more so as a lesson, just some early jitters, and it was a very close game, and I think that they're trying to go into this game proving a point that that first game was nothing but a fluke.
Well, they were very balanced last week, so we know their quarterback very well from week 1 for the Cats. It was week 2 for Marana, and both losses that Marana had were at home. So they lost to Ironwood Ridge to open their season, then they lost to Cienega in week 2. But Trenton Bourget sparkled and dazzled in that game. He threw for 5 touchdowns, 477 yards passing, just 1 interception, and a sterling quarterback rating of 130.5. Last week, under Andy Litton, the head coach of Marana, who has resurrected this Tigers program, Marana was very balanced on offense.
200 yards passing, 198 rushing. It's as balanced as you could possibly hope for with an offensive attack, and that's what coaches strive for, is balance in their attack. So it makes them much less predictable and much more difficult to contain and defend against as the Bobcats of Cienega High School come out here getting ready to blast through that banner. It says round 2, refuse to lose. Well, Cienega has a quarterback who is sterling in his own right, and we know Jamari Joyner can do everything. He is 23-1 in his career as a starting quarterback here at Cienega as the Cats explode through the banner. And Anthony Williams is hoisting up that red, white, and blue. The Stars and Stripes of America. I want to throw out a shout out and thanks to all of our service men and women who are serving right now here both in the States and abroad, and also to the veterans, because today was Veterans Day, so there's no school for the student athletes here, but a football game still played on Friday night. So we'll see if that layoff has any effect on these teams coming into the game here tonight, because it breaks their routine.
Yeah, a key for the game for Cienega if they want to win this game is they have to do better on defense. They allowed 7 touchdowns. They gave the hat trick to Tion Simmons, the wide receiver. They had 5 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns, and a total of 716 yards. So the defense has to do better if they want to win this game.
We've got captains coming out here getting ready for Marana and Cienega as we look across the way. The Tigers are wearing white jerseys, white pants, and they've got the yellow helmets. And we're looking at the captains coming out here tonight for the Tigers of Marana. It's number 21, Jesus Valenzuela. He's a senior wide receiver. Number 30 is one of their captains. He is also a senior. That's Zach Roberts. He's a running back and safety on defense. Number 52 is Angel Ledesma, one of the other captains on Marana's team. He's a senior, 6'1", 230, defensive lineman. And number 57 is John Morgan. He's a senior as well, 6'2", 270, the defensive end. For the Bobcats of Cienega High School, it's number 8, the senior linebacker, Nate Amico. Number 11, the senior quarterback, Jamari Joyner. Number 19, the senior running back and defensive end, Javon Walker. And number 24, the senior safety, Dylan Hughes. So the coin flip has happened here, and the Tigers will be receiving. They'll be going from left to right across your screen, and we are expecting a shootout here in week 2 of the playoffs. The number 9 seeded Tigers coming in here on a 9-game winning streak, and the Bobcats of Cienega are the number 1 seed in the state for the 2nd straight year. They ran the table in the regular season, a perfect regular season, and then 2 weeks ago, they had some help. The teams that were ahead of them, Centennial and Queen Creek, they both lost their games, which allowed Cienega to leapfrog them both and ascend to the number 1 spot in the 5A state playoff tournament. So the Bobcats, the top seed, a packed house here tonight. Marana has traveled well. There's a lot of electricity you can feel in the air here tonight. I think more so than last week when you guys were here. Bobcats took on Fairfax High School.
Yes, definitely going to be a very competitive game. This is, in my opinion, one of the better matchups of the entire championship run. And just to see it like this, it's like, generals of war going and having to strategize. Definitely great coaches that know what they're doing, and just amazing players that know how to work through those strategies to formulate great plans to score.
Jacob, you talked about Tion Simmons, who put up huge numbers in that Week 2 game between the Tigers and the Bobcats. Tion Simmons, number 2, is back there getting set to return, as well as number 6, Zeus Ratliff, who is a junior kick returner. Simmons had 3 touchdowns in that Week 2 shootout against the Cats. 57-50, I believe, was the score in that Week 2 matchup. The Bobcats here going from right to left. They have their brand new black jerseys. They're wearing their copper helmets and their white pants. And here is their kicker, Ezra Figueroa, on a short but high kickoff. And there's a flag down here early. And it's going to be offsides going against the kicking team. So they'll move it back 5 yards. And the Cats will have to kick off again. Not a great kickoff there for Ezra, who has improved as a kickoff specialist. We know he's fantastic on extra points and field goals. He's 34 for 35 on the year, or excuse me, 38 for 39 for PATs, and 6 for 6 on field goals. So he's been superlative in all facets of the kicking game. The one downside you could say would be his kickoffs, not the
strongest kickoffs.
Definitely, and I would have to say he's more of a accurate and more of a kind of a sniper, if you would say, for a kicker. He's not really has that much power into his kick, but definitely has the accuracy that it takes to be a PAT kicker.
He's got short socks on and those neon fluorescent pink shoes, those cleats. Tion Simmons down from the 15 on the return. He's electrifying across the 20, and he stumbles and is brought down at the 27-yard line. And the tackle was made by Cienega's number 45, Anthony Williams. So Williams, who came out carrying the Stars and Stripes, Old Glory, as the Cats exploded through that banner held by the cheerleaders, he makes a tackle here on special teams. Tigers 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line.
I don't know. Is Destiny here? I can't tweet. I don't have any data.
And I would have to say Marana is very confident coming back. Just look at their fans. Have you ever seen that much of a packed side?
Yeah, they travel very well. There's no doubt about it.
Very well.
Their fans believe in this team, and they have every reason to do so. Pass is complete across to the 45-yard line, now with room to go. Pass midfield, missed tackles, and then Hayward brings him down at the 40-yard line, but not before a gain of 30 on the play. Jesus Valenzuela, who is the leading receiver for Marana, on a big gain there from the first play of scrimmage.
Yeah, when I was watching these teams face off in week 1, Cienega's problem, missed tackles, and we saw it on that play right there.
Definitely have a talented runner.
Bourget looks to throw, now keeps it, and slashes down forward a gain of 2. Nate Amika was there to put some heat on him. So Trenton Bourget is a junior. He's 6 foot 160, and he is your prototypical high school quarterback. Slightly undersized, but great wheels. He's more of a scrambler than he is a true rusher, but he's also great at throwing on the fly, and he has full command of that offense. So he's a very confident passer, and he puts up big numbers in the passing game here. The field general at 2nd and 9 here. And handoff goes to the right side. A nice tackle there by Zach Mattis. And it was Zach Roberts, the senior, number 30 on the run. I'll throw a quick shout out there to Tyler Mattis, who I think is in Disneyland tonight, and sister Nikki, who is down there in the Hawaiian Islands. And I talked to Todd earlier, their father, who is the architect of the Mattis Gym. And Zach Mattis is a product of that gym. The kid is all muscle, and when you look at him, he's just completely ripped, and he's done a great job on both sides of the ball. He'll be starting tonight, I think, at right guard, and he's also starting on defensive line. And he's 6'1", 220, and it's all solid muscle. 3rd down and 8. Bourget back to throw down the middle. He's got a man open. The ball is caught. Big catch there. And it's a gain of about 27 on the catch. So again, it was number 21, Jesus Valenzuela. So 2 catches for him, nearly 60 yards through the air to this point.
And you know, we're yet to see a team give this much of an offensive presence like they have, forcing the ball with only about 4 or 5 drives. Getting this close to the red zone is pretty impressive to see.
Well, they've probably done a lot of film study. I shouldn't say probably. We know they have. And they've tried to find something that they can exploit on the defense. Maybe the soft underbelly of the interior. As the ball's run to the right side here, Rene Valenzuela on the carry. And no gain on the play. Carter Clark makes the tackle for the Bobcats. 2nd and 10. And a quiet crowd, right? For as many people that are here in the stands, there's not a lot of noise being made here by the spectators. 2nd and 10, man goes in motion. That's Diego Miranda, another dangerous wide receiver. Goes to the far side. Play action, Bourget rolls to his left. Thinking about holding it now on the bootleg. Slashes in for a touchdown. So Trenton Bourget, 12 yards on the carry. Naked bootleg. And he kept it. I think it was an option, but he decided to hold on to that football. And the Tigers of Marana on the board first.
Tigers just marched their way down there. What was that, about 7 plays maybe?
Yes.
7 plays. And that right there is unacceptable for the defense to allow that, and that comes right from the wide receivers coverage. 2 impressive passes made that caused that amazing drive that they just had right now, and that's why they're on the board first.
Number 83, Jaime Avila, is a very accomplished kicker.
and he's on to attempt the extra point, which is up and good. So just like that, the Tigers march methodically down the field. A couple of big pass plays, and then Trenton Bourget on his legs, 12 yards on the touchdown run. The Tigers up 7-0 with 9:07 on the clock here in the first quarter.
And a little bit of some aggressive assertiveness that we're seeing here from the Tigers. And I think it's more so that first week game is coming back into their minds. They studied for this game, and this is a big game for them because this sends them to that neutral site. And I think this is where Cienega needs to show their strength and show how they can be just as effective on offense.
Well, if there is a criticism about the Bobcats, it's that they give up points. We know that they can score points in bunches. Both teams, again, almost a mirror image of one another. They both have prolific offenses, averaging about 45 and 48 points per game respectively. Marana puts more points on the board on a week-to-week basis, and their defenses give up about 20 points a game. So these teams are very closely matched. Terrell Huggins from the 10-yard line on the kickoff return. Stutters and comes back across the 20-yard line, where the Cats will have 1st and 10.
And Mr. Miller, would you say that coming into this game, knowing how aggressive Marana plays, and they play with just the same competitive fire as Ironwood Ridge does, would you say that their intimidation that the Tigers have is kind of getting to them already?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things. Number one, that Marana is not intimidated by anybody, and I don't think you were saying that, but I think Marana is a team that is brimming with confidence. I do think, like you were alluding to here, is that it puts pressure immediately on Cienega here. They have to march down the field and put some points on the board. Jamari Joyner, play action pass, lost it down the right side here. There's Stephen Harshman on the catch at the 50, and he's brought out of bounds to the 25-yard line. So 55 yards on the pass play. Jamari Joyner to Stephen Harshman, the senior tight end.
Great play by the Wildcats there. They didn't have any receivers outside. They had them all inside, looking like they were going to block for the run. They sent Stephen Harshman and Joey White out there for that long reception.
Well, that's a nice play. And coming into the game tonight, Harshman was not one of those targets that puts up all kinds of numbers. He certainly is a capable receiver at the tight end position as Hayward gets the ball now going to the right side. Slashes up to the inside and lowers his shoulder where he picks up 7, maybe 8 on the carry.
And you can tell right there if they know that Hayward is a key player for the Bobcats when it comes to their offensive side, and they're doing a great job of not letting him do whatever he wants. He's been getting some great yard coverage, but he hasn't been doing that in the electric fashion that we're used to.
Terrell Hayward, maybe the most talented player in the entire state of Arizona. Gio Owens now gets the handoff, and he's very patient, and he's flipped around. And the ball may have popped out there. They're saying it's 3rd down here. So Gio was spun around in the spin cycle. He was upended and landed on his head, and he actually loses a yard. So it's 3rd down, 3rd and 3 here for the Bobcats. Well, Jamari Joyner, when you're talking about him, this is a player that's put up 38 touchdowns on the season, 16 rushing on his legs, a 1,000-yard rusher, 22 passing, and he's a very efficient quarterback. And there's a whistle here, and the Cats will call a timeout. So Pat Nugent saw something that he didn't like, and I think he's trying to settle his kids down a little bit here. You see Pat Nugent talking to Jamari Joyner as the players come up here for a quick sip of Powerade. It's the official beverage of Bobcat football. It's always the blue Powerade. They always mix up the blue.
Always, always. And, you know, Powerade is definitely a great way to fuel yourself. Definitely, you know, that's just the way we're rolling. You know, this is a championship game, and I think they're trying to give the players the best possible beverage that they can to, you know, utilize their, you know, strength and everything in the moment to get their best, you know, performance.
True. I'm drinking 2 things tonight. I'm drinking honey, 100% pure, and I'm also drinking Dunkin' Donuts black tea because they got rid of the peach tea. So I'm going with different fluids here tonight. 3rd down and 3. Man comes in motion. It's Rodney Rogers. And Jamari back to throw. Under pressure, he eludes one man, fires on the run, and it was overthrown. I think he was looking for Terrell Hayward, who was open at the 10. It was between Hayward and Rogers, so it was a little bit too strong for Hayward to get. And the Cats may think about kicking a field goal here. They could certainly go for it.
So we'll see. It looks as if the Cats are going to go for it on 4th down here, 4th and 3. And I think in this kind of a situation, you give Jamari Joyner the option to run or throw the football off the run.
Yeah, definitely trying to give him that same situation that they gave the Tigers quarterback on the other side, to have an option play right there to give him multiple opportunities to score. And I think that's what the Bobcats need to do here to utilize it.
I think so. We may see Jamari Joyner here rolling out and throwing. He's got 3 targets near side. He fires it. There's Trey White. Trey spins, and he's close to the goal line. Nice play there from Jamari Joyner, threading and finding his big possession receiver. And big Trey White, 17 at 6'4", had a huge game in week 1 for the Cats. He had a couple of big catches late on a last-second drive that led to a touchdown. He also scored 2 two-point conversions in that game. So as the weeks have progressed, Trey White has become more of a favorite target of Jamari Joyner. Nice job there from Jamari to patiently find him in traffic, and a great catch there by Trey. Jamari now on the keeper, lowers his shoulder, and he bulls his way down to the 1-yard line. Well, he is a 1,000-yard rusher, so I've heard Pat Nugent say that his best running back is number 11, Jamari Joyner. So on the season, 117 carries, 1029 yards, so a 1,000-yard rusher, 8.8 yards per run, 16 touchdowns. He's averaging 94 yards on the ground per game.
And he's had 4 consecutive 100-plus rushing games.
Thomas Webb's back there too. He's also a favorite ball carrier near the goal line. Handoff goes to Webb. Webb pulls his way in for a touchdown. Thomas Webb Jr., the junior, on a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Cats are on the board.
And that's the way to go. Thomas Webb is an amazing power runner. He uses his weight and his ability to be a little bit agile, a little bit crafty to make that kind of play. Jacob, what do you think on that?
And it seems like every time the Bobcats are on the 1-yard line, they go to Thomas Webb.
It definitely seems to be their target.
Ezra Figueroa, number 18, the junior kicker, on to attempt the extra point. Snap is down, and the kick is up, and it's good. Great job holding there by Luis Morales Jr., number 15, the backup quarterback. And a great job there from Ezra Figueroa, who now is 39 for 40 on extra point attempts. He is as good as they come. 7-7, 6:05 in the first quarter, and we have another, what looks to be high-scoring affair in week 2 of the playoffs. But it's interesting, Thomas Webb Jr. is a player that Pat Nugent and his coaching staff, they trust getting the football in key situations close to the goal line.
Yeah,
he's a bulldozer, a wrecking ball,
he really is.
A running back.
Yeah, and I think it's more so they have to trust him right now and give him that kind of leeway, because when it comes next year, when you don't have Jamari Joyner, he's going to be a key player in gaining huge yardages, and he's going to be a vast majority of their scoring. So I think right now it's more so training him for next year, and definitely in the moment right now trying to make this game happen and get a W.
Well, either a griffin flew past us, or that was a gigantic grasshopper that's out of season. But it's flying across the way. Or a mayfly or a midge. I don't know what that was. It may have been a small aircraft. Here's Tion Simmons from the 5-yard line on the kickoff return. And a good job there by Luis Morales to grab onto a leg until his teammates can make the tackle. Luis Morales Jr., the backup quarterback, making a nice play on special teams. He does a great job as the placeholder on extra points and field goals. So deft with those hands and so quick at placing down the football for Ezra Figueroa to blast it through the uprights. But there he is making a tackle on special teams.
Oh, I didn't want you to see that. I didn't want you to see that.
Trenton Bourget, number 5, the junior quarterback, in the pistol. Handoff goes to the right side. Nice hit there from Thomas Webb. And the tackle made by Stephen Harshman, the inside linebacker, the starter. And that was Rene Valenzuela on the carry. Well, he is the Tigers' leading rusher. 6.5 yards per carry, 122 carries on the year for 789 yards, 7 touchdowns. His brother is the leading receiver, Jesus, on this team. So the Valenzuela boys are a handful. One's a pass catcher, the other is a ball carrier. 5:28 on the clock, and we're tied at 7 in week 2 of the state playoffs. The 9-seeded Tigers of Marana, the top-seeded Bobcats of Cienega, and there's a flag down on the play. False start, so a 5-yard penalty here will make it 2nd down and 11 for the Tigers.
And a little bit of some kind of fan factor that goes into these games, as you can see right here. When the Tigers scored, the other side erupted and this side was silent, and same vice versa.
Yeah, both crowds waiting to erupt here. And it's Valenzuela, Renee on the carry, and Harshman, Steven on the tackle. And a gain of 6, so it'll set up 3rd down and a very manageable 4. One thing about Trenton Bourget, he is a right-handed quarterback, but he's very good at rolling to his left, which is atypical of a right-handed quarterback. So we saw that on his touchdown run. He was looking to run left and throw, and you see here the coaching staff here is really emphatic on the sideline, not liking something they're seeing. Bourget patient here. It's a screen, delayed screen. Pass is complete. A 1st down here, and the running back was never brought down. So it's a gain of 18 on the reception to Zach Roberts, one of the senior captains for Marana.
I don't think I've ever seen a player get flipped onto his side and keep going like that. That was definitely a lot of determination right there from the Tigers, and they're going to need that. Keep going forward and kind of add in a little bit of intimidation.
Handoff goes to the right side of Zach Roberts, and Roberts is brought down quickly there. It's Diego Rivas, one of the linebackers, and Diego Ruby, he spells in at the left corner position. So interesting to see here, Terrell Hayward, number 7, is back at safety. So Hayward off his normal spot at corner, and the Bobcats unveiling a new wrinkle in their defense. Terrell Hayward back there, a better pass defender at safety. And Thomas Webb has stayed in there, playing close line at safety. Ball thrown to the left side. Right there was Hayward in coverage. The pass was intended for Jesus Valenzuela. That's a very interesting wrinkle. Usually we have Terrell Huggins playing deep free safety. He's off the field at the moment. Terrell Hayward, 7, slides over from corner to safety. Dylan Hughes plays up in the box as a run defending safety. And now we have Terrell Huggins subbing in for Thomas Webb Jr. So the Bobcats defense, they're interacting and interchanging some pieces there in the secondary, trying to improve a little bit in pass defense. Bourget rolls to his left. He's got some time to throw, under pressure now. He eludes Nate Amico, and he slashes his way for a 1st down. So a great run there, and 9 yards on the carry by Trenton Bourget.
Yeah, and you can already tell about Bourget. He's going to be a handful for the Cienega defense coming to this game.
Kid's a gamer. He's gritty. We saw it in week 2. When he went up for 477 yards and 5 touchdowns. The kid is unflappable, he's fearless at quarterback, and he's as skilled as you could possibly want somebody to have. But we saw how cool he was in that week 1 matchup for us, week 2 for them. Just poised as could be, fearless, a gunslinger, throwing into coverage and very comfortable running the offense, and he's got weapons all over the field. So they have speed guys, just like Cienega has speed guys on their offensive attack. 1st and 10, Tigers for the Bobcat 46. Bourget back to throw. Takes 2 steps, throws to the left. Pass is complete in traffic. And the ball is caught by Jesus Valenzuela. Harshman on the tackle. And a gain of 7 on the play. So Bourget has been super accurate. I mean, looking at his stats coming into the game here tonight, we're talking about a kid that is completing at a rate of 62%. So sterling numbers in terms of accuracy for the Tigers starting quarterback, whom I don't believe has misfired here yet tonight. Pass it to the near side. He's got a man in the end zone. Contact there between Hayward and Tion Simmons. And Simmons pops up with his hand saying, "What was that?" There was some contact, although both players were going up for the football. Pass interference, question mark? looked pretty clean, just some incidental contact.
It definitely looked clean, but you know, in certain case scenarios, I would think it would get called.
Yeah, just looked like they were both going up to the wall. Jousting for the football. And there's Hayward now making his presence felt at safety. He's got red gloves on. Handoff goes to the left side, and it's a first down here for the Tigers. Rene Valenzuela on the carry, and he bulls his way forward for 4 and a first down for the Tigers. Well, there's that ball control that we were talking about. A very equal distribution of rushing and passing for the Tigers. They used to be much more one-dimensional. They used to be a very pass-heavy team. And I think as the season has progressed on, head coach Andy Litton, very successful here at Marana, has discovered that the way to win is through balance, or at least the semblance of balance, trying to get balance on your offensive attack. Bourget at quarterback, drops back, takes 2 steps, pumps and fires to the far side. He's got a man open. Ball is in and out of his hands. Rodney Rogers was spun around there. The ball is intended for Alfred Ibanoa, number 3, who is a sophomore wide receiver. Ibanoa, 6'3", 175. A tall target for Trenton Bourget. And Rodney was spun around. Fortunate there that Alfred Ibanoa could not hold on to that football. 2nd and 10. Well, Trenton has a strong arm. We've seen that already. Handoff goes to the left side. Gain of 7, maybe 8 for Zach Roberts. So they're really sharing the workload here between Rene Valenzuela, the junior running back, number 20, and Zach Roberts, number 30, the senior running back.
And those are 2 very reliable runners, as they've shown here, and they showed it in week 1. And Zach Roberts got that touchdown at the top of the game.
We had a late sub coming in here, a big tight end on the left side of the football, and some confusion here, it looks like, for the Bobcats on defense. 3rd down and 4. Bourget back to throw. Comes near side. He's going for Tion Simmons. In and out of his hands. And Diego Ruby, number 2, was there in coverage. He also had his back to the play, so he put up his left hand and was fortunate to get a piece of that one. But it looks like the corners here are having a little bit of difficulty keeping up with these Tiger wide receivers.
Yeah, definitely seems like a lot of trouble for them lately on the last couple of plays, but they're doing a great job of stopping them. A little bit of some suspecting plays, but definitely doing a great job of stopping them.
We'll see if Trenton Bourget rolls out again. He's very good throwing off the run. 4th down and 3. Bourget rolls to his right, sets, it's a screen back to the left. Ball is caught. Very close to that first down marker. Rodney Rogers there on the tackle. And it depends on the spot here.
I think it's short. Yep.
Tyson corner on that catch. And Rodney Rogers went low to bring him down. It was a beautiful delayed release screen going to the left side. Bourget rolled to his right, threw to his left, and Rodney Rogers made a beautiful tackle there out in space. And it did appear as if he was short, so the official's right there, marking it correctly. A big 4th down stop here for the Bobcat defense. Cats here pitch it out to Gio Owens, who finds the edge, gets across the 30 to the 35, close to a first down. Well, Brett Darling, the defensive coordinator, has to be very pleased with that effort from his defense.
Yeah, definitely has to be impressed with that. I can tell that Gio is having a little bit, like the running backs are having a little bit of a hard time getting those massive gains as they usually do. And I think it's just the pillars of what the Marana Tigers have put in place through their defensive line and their defensive coverage altogether is strategically planned for this team and the way they work.
Jamari in trouble, rolls to his right, throws off the run. Ball is flicked and maybe intercepted, nearly intercepted, but dropped in and out of the hands. So it was off of the left hand of Terrell Huggins. And the defender that was there from Marana, I believe it was number 80, Andrew Smith. So Smith had a chance there to intercept. And I'm surprised that Jamari decided to throw. He looked as if he had gotten the edge on that defensive end and had some room to run. but he went for the pass, and now it's 3rd and 1 here for the Cats. Thomas Webb, the wrecking ball number 4, comes in there at tailback. Tigers stacking the box now. They've got 9 players in the box with 2 safeties back. Handoff goes here to Webb. 2 hands, Webb, room to go, and he crosses the 45 for a first down.
There's that 1-yard situation again. Just get Webb in there. He converts a lot of the time.
Definitely, and he uses his weight and his skill as an agile running back to make sure that he can weave his way through and make sure he can make those tough plays happen, and that's why they love him, is because when you need that 1 yard, he's going to give it to you plus some.
5'10", 203 pounds. So when I say he's a wrecking ball, he is truly a wrecking ball. Low center of gravity, great vision. He's an old quarterback, ex-quarterback, and he's deft at handling the football. He's a safe runner. 2 hands on the football, you saw him there. And now we have a timeout here taken by Pat Nugent. He's yelling at somebody on the sideline here. He's not happy with something that's going on here. I think he's yelling at one of his players who was supposed to be out there on the field. Looks like Diego Rivas, number 1, may have supposed to have been out of the package there on that play. So the Cats will call a timeout. It's 7-7, 32 seconds left here in the first quarter. The ball is at the Bobcat 47-yard line where they have 1st and 10. Nugent's hot. I will tell you that he is very competitive. I talked to Mrs. Nugent, Michelle. She's very charming, and I also talked to Mark Fontana's wife, Maria, before the game, also charming. Mrs. Joyner and Mr. Joyner, Mr. Mattis and Mrs. Mattis, they're like my regular 6 people that I see before the games. And she says that Mrs. Nugent, that she's more nervous before games than her husband is. She has a very difficult time sleeping the night before a game. Jamari on the quarterback run here. There's a flag down. Jamari picks up a first down and a couple of more, but I think this one's going back here. It's probably holding going against the Cats.
And back to what you were saying, Nugent is definitely a hothead. Definitely has a competitive spirit and a competitive fire that you don't really see that often. And it only goes back to his coaching days as a college coach, where you have to have that competitive fire because it's your job, and your pay relies on it. And he expects the highest capability and highest quality out of his men every single time they are on that football field.
I agree.
Yeah, and like you said, his coaching comes from his background. His uncle, I believe, was the coach at Florida State, and when I look back at when they started winning, I think it looks like it started with his uncle.
Yes,
Tom Nugent.
So holding here puts the Cats back. It's 1st and 23. Joyner on the screen, and Rogers bobbles the ball. The ball lingered in the air there for a few moments, and we've seen a couple of times where the football has it seems to have hung up in the air, and a couple of swarming Tiger defenders have lunged and tried to have intercepted the football. So a couple of near interceptions here, off deflections.
This defense, it really puts homage to the saying that when you're in the lion's den, you're in the lion's den. And if you fumble, if you fall, it could be the end of that play. And it definitely goes into this. As you can see, he fumbled that ball right there, and you automatically saw the defense collapsing on him. And pretty good job trying to divert that.
2nd and 23. Joyner looks to option to Hayward. He tumbles across the 40-yard line, so he'll pick up 6 on the carry, and it sets up a 3rd down and 15.
Definitely a pass play right here that they're going to go for.
And it brings us to the end of the first quarter. So at the end of 1, we're tied at 7-7. Go ahead, Ray.
Definitely the best thing to do in this situation is give another option play, allow him to pass and give his wide receivers great routes, their best routes, and make sure that they utilize their capability to divert the defense. And the main part I'm seeing right here is on offense and on defense, they're not able to collapse on them. On the offensive side, the defense is collapsing on the offense, giving Jamari a run for his money and not allowing him to have that time that he usually gets. And I think it's a little bit of an adjustment that he's going to have to go through in these next couple of quarters. But I think by the end of the game, he'll definitely have it down.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start, I guess, for him comparatively.
but we've seen him do the things that he does best, which is scrambling, running, and throwing off the run. In pregame, I saw him throw the ball 50 yards off his back foot, and the ball was on a line. So tight spirals, puts a lot of velocity on the football. He can drop the football into a small window. We've seen that time and time again. And then certainly with his God-given talents, his legs, his wheels, and the vision to throw off the run. We've seen all those things on display here. So he hasn't really started heating up yet. It's just a matter of time with him on a relatively cool night here in the second week of the 5A state playoffs. 3rd and 16 for the Cats now, going left to right. The ball's at the 41-yard line. Cats in a bunch. They have 3 wideouts to the far side. Some movement there on the line. Jamari under all kinds of pressure. And now he cuts it back. Looking for a block here. Webb missed his block. Jamari still able to tiptoe close to the first down. And he might be a yard short. So 15 yards on the carry. And he's doing the can-can with the high kicks going on the near sideline. We've seen him do that so many times, threading the tightrope.
Yeah, will look like should have been a loss of 5, turned into a gain of 15.
Right, and he was bottled back at the 30-yard line. So we're looking at what would have been a 15-yard loss for mere mortals, but Jamari Joyner is not that. So cutting it back the other way, he got a nice block, cracking back from Thomas Webb, and then Jamari with his speed was able to make it close. Now it's 4th down and 1. Thomas Webb back there at running back. Hayward in motion. Handoff goes to Webb, and Webb lunges forward. I don't think he got it. It's going to be very close. It depends on the spot here from the head linesman near side. Very close. Jamari is signaling first down. We may have a measurement here. The officials call a timeout. I think they will measure. If you look across the way, the first down marker is placed at the 43-yard line. And Webb got the ball to the 42 and about the 42.5-yard line. Or actually the 44-yard line, maybe the 43.5. So the first down marker is spotted at the 43. Based on where the football is placed, I don't think he has enough for a first down. But let's see what this measurement comes up with here. He appeared short to me. The chains are extended, and he is short, indeed, by about a yard. You can see the opposite side there, the fans, the Tiger fans erupting, and they've got these neon yellow towels that they're swirling around, and their defense and their team swells up in unison here to cheer on their defense. So we've seen 2 defensive stops here. The Cats had one on a 4th and 1. And then now we see here the Tigers on 4th and 1 with their defensive stand. Tigers have great field position now on their own 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Okay, quick pass here, left side, ball is caught. Tackler misses, and it's a gain of 12 on the catch from Alfred Ibanoa, the sophomore wide receiver.
You know, for science.
First and 10 Tigers. Handoff goes here to the near side. It's Rene Valenzuela on the carry, and he picks up 5. Tackle made by Diego Rivas. A nice feature of these new black jerseys that the Cats have, it has their players' last names stitched across the back.
And the good thing is most of the players are going to be staying, so it's not like those jerseys actually go to waste. You're going to be able to use them for at least another year, maybe even 2, considering the freshmen that you have that are wearing them. Definitely very, very unique and pretty jerseys.
And atypical, they're not the school colors, so the black jerseys
Some of the kids like them. Other kids are complaining that they're not school colors, but I think they stand out. 3rd down and 4 after that short carry from Rene Valenzuela. Bourget in the pistol. Back to throw. Fires near side to left. The ball is caught. And actually it's waved off incomplete. So that was a late call there by the head linesman here who was closest to the play. The ball was initially called a reception by Diego Miranda, and then it was waved off as incomplete. So 4th down and 4, and now the Tigers call a timeout with 10:22 on the clock here in the second quarter.
Have we seen a punt yet?
No, we have not.
Team going for it on 4th down a lot. We saw it week 1 too.
And I think we may see Miranda go for it again here. Bourget's been very hot at quarterback. We know how accurate he is, and we know how good he is at making plays on the run. So if I'm Andy Litton and I'm the Tigers coaching staff, I'm going to have Bourget rolling out maybe to the right side here, which is the spacious side of the field. The ball's placed here on the left hash mark. You have about 3/4 of the field going to the far side. So if you roll out Bourget to the right, maybe you can throw back to the left, or maybe you can find somebody on the right side, or maybe he can keep it with his wheels. 4th and 4. This is the 3rd 4th down attempt of the game. Both teams 0 for 1, converting on 4th down. 2 wideouts near side, one goes in from far side. That's Diego Miranda. Bourget, play action, rolls to his right. Throws on the run. Ball is caught. Tion Simmons inside the 10-yard line for a 1st down and a big play.
It looks like Rodney Rogers on that play missed time when the ball was coming because he jumped early, and then Morales had to fall into coverage.
So 34 yards on the pass play. Bourget to Tion Simmons.
7 minutes to go in. Yeah. That's touchdown.
Handoff goes to the right side, stacked up. Oh, there's a big tackle there. It was Hunter Schlegel, the big freshman, 6'3", 270. I wonder what Hunter eats for breakfast on a Saturday morning. How many flapjacks? How many eggs? How many eggs does he go through in a typical weekend breakfast? How many pieces of bacon? So big Hunter Schlegel, 6'3", 270, stacked it up. 2nd and goal here from the 4-yard line. Younger brother of Ty Schlegel, one of the Bobcat great defensive ends. Pitch goes to the left side. Eludes one tackler. And there's Zach Mattis and Nate Amico and Luis Morales Jr. all combining on the tackle. Maybe a loss of 1. Maybe 2 on the play. So now it's 3rd and goal from the 6. Tim Nichols, the public address announcer, the venerable announcer here at Cienega, in full throat, trying to implore these fans to make some noise on 3rd down. Trenton Bourget has 2 wideouts near side, 2 wideouts far side, and a running back flanked to his right. 3rd and goal from the 5. Bourget back to throw, looks left corner. Ball's complete. Nice tackle there, smothering tackle by Nate Amico. It was 8 on 8. Diego Miranda, the reception. Nate Amico, the tackle. And it's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line.
And you know what? This is a dangerous territory that they're going into right now. You got to wonder how they're going to approach a 1-yard touchdown attempt, because you don't have the wrecking ball that we have. It seems so you'd either go with an option with your quarterback or a straight-up pass to the corners.
True. Rene Valenzuela, number 20, the junior running back, is in there behind the fullback. The ball goes to Valenzuela. Left side. Touchdown! Rene Valenzuela, 1 yard on the touchdown run.
They're also
Yeah, Bobcats were very confused on that play. They left one receiver open, which made Rodney Rogers run all the way to the other side and put coverage on him. Very, very confusing play for the Bobcats.
Well, Valenzuela is the leading scorer running the football. He now has 8 touchdowns on the season, and again averaging 6.5 yards per carry as Jaime Avila, number 83, comes on to attempt the extra point. High snap, and he blasts that one through the uprights. So 8:12 on the clock here, second quarter, and the Tigers up on top, 14-7.
Mr. Miller, the lights are back.
Bright lights.
Bright lights. They have finally returned.
Which lights?
They have the bright lights.
The fans across the way have the bright lights? Oh, light brights.
Light brights.
Light brights. Okay.
Right.
Light brights. That's a 70s, early 80s flashback there for some of the viewers watching at home. The younger kids have no idea what light bright is, so it's really much ado about nothing. It seemed like a good concept. You have these little like pinned lights you could put into an open hold board, and there's a light behind a little black screen, and then the little light bulbs like illuminate up, so you can make little figures and shapes and some basic drawing. Etch-a-Sketch was better. You could do much more things on the Etch-a-Sketch with the two knobs, and you could draw all kinds of things with that. Graphite on some sort of background. Terrell Huggins at the 2-yard line on the kickoff return. Cats down 14-7. Huggins coming all the way here. He's going to be strung out at the 15-yard line. And the tackle made there by number 38. That's Trey Peterson, the senior linebacker and special teamer.
And you know, it's funny, I've never seen Terrell have to get tackled so far back into their own end zone. A little bit concerning to see because that has never happened before. Jacob, do you think that their confidence is withering away slowly because of this kind of extent of defensive coverage that they're facing, or do you think that they still have all their confidence?
I think they still have all their confidence. They're only down 7. They've had a few defensive mistakes, and their offense is doing pretty well. Oh, beautiful dart there from Jamari Joyner to Terrell Hayward. 11 on the reception. 7-11. So they're open all the time. And Jamari just threaded the needle. There were 3 defenders right there in a very small pocket of space. And Jamari very patiently in the pocket just looked through his reads and then found Hayward there. Nice little job from Terrell to get open. 1st and 10 Cats. There's a flag down here. A little play fake there from Hayward. And we'll see what the penalty is here. The head linesman, who is near side with us, threw that flag.
I honestly got to say, Jamari Joyner did the jack-in-the-box pop-up.
Yes.
The fake right there. He popped up so quick and dived almost right down. Definitely very fast in thinking. That got me right there. I don't know if they got any of the cameras.
Yeah, a little play action, fake the fake handoff. We have a false start here going against the Cats, so now it'll be 1st down and 15. And the Cats have the ball at the 22-yard line. Chilly night here tonight, we can call it like that. I have a sweater and a jacket on, and I think it's barely enough. I know some of the fans that are out here I saw in T-shirts, and I was thinking that they weren't going to be able to make it here, at least comfortably tonight. Jamari on the keeper, near side across the 25 to the 27-yard line. So he'll pick up 4, and that'll make it 2nd down and 10. Back to the original line of scrimmage. It feels like playoff football. I'll say that, and it feels like the fall here on the 10th day of November. Again, let's send some thanks out there to the men and women serving, both here and abroad in the United States military, all branches of the service, and then thank you to the veterans who dedicated their service to this great country that we live in. Joyner on the throw. Pass is intended for Trey White. There was a defender blanketed on him. Diego Miranda was... Oh, well, he was laying across the shoulders of Trey White, and Trey was asking for interference there.
And you know, it's funny about high school football. It's kind of like a story. You know, you start off in summer, and as the seasons change, you change into a different kind of competitor, a different kind of attitude, and you know, it's kind of the cold changes from the warmth. The warmth changes to the cold. Definitely a change in attitude that you can see here, and this game is definitely from week 1 to now a big change in how the Tigers face the Bobcats and how the Bobcats take the Marana Tigers.
Oh, you remember that week 1 for us. I think I was dehydrated that night. I could not formulate my words. The thoughts that were in my mind would not communicate to my mouth, and I could not verbalize what I was saying. I thought I was either having a stroke or I was dehydrated, like in real time. So I know I was dehydrated. That was a blistering Friday night back in August. I think August 25th. 104, I think, 110 maybe temperature, and the heat was just blistering. Tonight, much cooler, and I would imagine when you have contact on a cold night, you can feel that hit more than you would on a hot night.
Definitely. That was a eventful first game for you.
Indeed. Well, oh yes, and eventful for all of us.
Yes, definitely was.
Going into the parking lot, and they had a car there that they were demolishing with a sledgehammer. You could pay $1 to get a couple of hacks in on this old car, and it reminded me of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And we have a whistle here and a stoppage of play. So a legal substitution going against the Tigers. So a 5-yard penalty here makes it a very manageable 3rd down and 5. And that game feels like a lifetime ago.
Yes, it does. But, connecting, you have, I would think they like to keep that game in their memory bank as a game that they were going to possibly see Cienega again.
And who would have thought from week 1 to now? Oh, nice screen pass there. Hayward with some room to go, and he lunges his way across, 7 yards and a 1st down.
I don't know why, but I always feel like the refs just get in the way. There's been a couple times where I feel like the refs just ruin a run play or a pass play because they're just right there in the way. Right there, I think he could have got another 4 or 5 yards just because that ref was in the way right there.
Sometimes offensive coordinators and coaches will design plays utilizing the umpire, and they'll use the umpire as a pick or a screen. Hayward here turns it back here, Barry Sanders style, and now goes up the field, lucky to get a yard on that play as opposed to a 5 or 6 yard loss.
I feel like everybody on the Cienega offense is good at doing that, turning back and then getting more yards instead of the loss.
They're definitely jukey, would you say?
Yeah, I agree. But the best is Barry Sanders. I don't know if you guys saw Barry Sanders.
Yes, I did.
Highlights of him, and Sanders was the best at cutting it back. So he would put on the brakes, and he would instantly double back with speed, and he could go from 0 to 60 in about a second or a second and a half. Jamari back to throw. There's Hayward now at an open space, far side. Hayward foot race down the sideline. Stutter steps, and he's down to the 15-yard line. So a 42-yard catch and run by Terrell Hayward. And the Cats have found something here on offense.
Certainly have right there, and I think it pays homage to the fact that Jamari Joyner is one of the best scramblers and has the best agility in the state of Arizona in the way that he is able to formulate plans on the fly with his intense IQ for a quarterback at such a young age. That's something you don't see in very many young QBs.
True, but remember this, he's been playing football probably since he was 6 or 7 years old. So,
definitely.
Dad's a coach. I know he coached him as he was a youngster, and the Tigers here call a timeout with 5:23. The Cats have 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
The second best scrambler might be across the sideline.
Maybe.
Yeah. And like I was telling you, Jacob, earlier on when we had this conversation, this team matches up pretty much almost perfectly with Cienega in their style, just when it comes to how they throw the ball, how they run the ball, and how smart both their quarterbacks are.
Evenly?
I wouldn't say evenly, but I would have to say that this is a very unique matchup because of how they match up, balanced play style, and have great coaching on both sides. But I think in terms of quarterback that we have the upper hand because we have, the great Jamari Joyner.
We have 2 great quarterbacks out there tonight. I agree with you, McVay. If there's a game that I need to be won, I want Jamari at my quarterback. Jamari back to throw, threads the needle, and Trey White was sandwiched there between 2 defenders and unable to hold on to the football. It was number 10, Anthony Valencia, and number 30, Zach Roberts, who had Trey White sandwiched there in between them, and Trey in traffic. The ball was delivered right where it needed to be. Just a tough catch for any receiver to make there in traffic. 2nd and 10. Well, Stephen Harshman comes in here. We've seen him catch the ball on an early 50-yard plus pass play, the first play from the line of scrimmage for the Cats on offense. He's back there at tight end on the left side of the field. Pitch goes to the near side here. Devin Garrett gets the football, and he runs it across the 15. So Devin picks up 5. Talked to his grandfather before the game. He's also one of the people that I talked to before every game. And I said, you know what, Devin does a great job running the football. He's a little wrecking ball as well. At that running back position, he runs very physically for somebody his stature and size, 5'8", 170, but a sure-handed running back, and now he's getting some plays here as the Cats try to diversify their running attack. 3rd down and 6. Jamari back to throw. Looks far side. Now he's in traffic, and Jamari goes down. So brought down on a sack. He had Hayward on the far side of the field, and he could not get rid of the football, and the pocket collapsed around him, and the sack was Alfred Ibanoa and also John Morgan, number 57, the senior, on that sack. Cats here, a field goal attempt. Well, this will be a long one, so it'll be, when it's all said and done, it'll be a 42-yard field goal attempt. That's testing his range. And now a whistle. Flag. Well, this is very helpful. So instead of a 42-yard field goal attempt, it'll be a 37-yard field goal attempt, and that is much more within the range of the right leg of Ezra Figueroa. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, like, what's his range in practice? He's connected from 50 yards.
Yes, I've talked to him about that too, and he did say he connected on 50.
Yes, but not in a game situation.
No, it's a different type of battle when you do it in game situations.
And now another penalty here. This one goes against the Cats. So seesaw, yo-yo, and they'll go back 5 yards. So now we're looking again back at a 42-yard field goal attempt.
Ezra can do it. I have 100% faith in him. He's definitely one of the most talented soccer players on campus, alongside one of the best field goal kickers we have up to recent dates.
I agree. The latest in a string of superb field goal kickers. Luis Morales Jr. gets set for the high snap. Gets the hold down. The kick is up. And it's good. What a great job by Luis Morales. That snap was so high. He was down on one knee. He had to extend all the way up to get it and then place it down instantly. And I thought it threw off Ezra's his kicking motion.
I think it did.
But enough to still get it through.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I have faith in Ezra. I have a question for you, Mr. Miller.
Yes.
What is it that seems that, what do you think attracts and it brings out the best out of these field goal kickers? Because we have had a couple of elite kickers on Cienega in these past 10 years, I would have to say. What do you think, brings out the best in these kickers?
The common denominator is the tutelage and coaching of Brett Holly, the superb special teams coach for this team. Every year, the special teams are exemplary. The place kickers, the punters, and the whole units are really dialed in, and that is a tribute to one man, Brett Holly, who is a terrific special teams coach. I think he could be a head coach, honestly, if he had the desire to do so. There are many coaches on this program who are assistants that could be helming or leading programs as head coaches. So Pat Nugent has assembled here. This is one of the holdbacks from the Niemer Hassie era, another great successful head coach. And Brett Holly, I think, is the common denominator to all those great kickers. The return here goes across the 25-yard line. It's Zayas Ratliff, the junior, on the return. Tackled by Tanner Hughes, the senior, number 12. He's playing with a heavy heart. We learned this week about Jacob Buckley, one of the juniors on the soccer program, who passed away on Monday. And I want to send our prayers and our thoughts out to Jacob's mom and dad, friends and family, all the kids on this campus who are hurting. Just know that we care and that we are here for you. So I just want to send that out there as Tanner makes a nice play on special teams. Broguet on the carry here. Eludes 2 tacklers and spins his way forward for a gain of 7.
dangerous game that they're playing right now, Cienega, because they're allowing the quarterback to make his own options, formulate his own plays basically on the fly. He's being a little bit more agile than we've seen in that first week, and he's making those important plays when it comes to being more of a scrambler and more so utilizing his strength in his arm to get these plays done and gain heavy yardage.
Yeah, I agree. He is a very deft runner. Back to throw. Down the middle. He's going to man open. Ball is complete across the 30-yard line. That's a big pass play. 35 yards on the catch. Alfred Ibanoa. And Bourget lofted it perfectly. We've seen him exploit kind of that skinny post down the center of the field. 35 yards there from Bourget to Ibanoa.
On the catch.
1st and 10 Tigers here at the 29-yard line. 2:40 on the clock. They have a 14-10 lead. Run goes here to the near side. Jesus Valenzuela eventually strung out and tackled by Diego Ruby, Nate Amico, and Zach Mattis. And now Nate Amico is down there writhing in pain on the turf. So 2:22 on the clock. Now, the Tigers received the opening kickoff of the game, so we know that the Bobcats will open the second half receiving. But here the Tigers are now in striking distance at the 31-yard line. They've got time on the clock, 2:21. They have one timeout left here at their disposal. And now they have the added benefit here of extra time because Nate Amico is slow to get up here. Now he's getting on his feet. Seems to be just fine. May have had the wind knocked out of him. That's my speculation here. Yeah, been through that. You know how scary that can be for an athlete.
Yeah, it's definitely, football's a different type of game. It's, it's one of the most physical ones that are, part of this world. And, that alongside with the newly formed rugby program that's going to be coming in.
But the kids are buzzing about that.
Yeah, buzzing about it. And, I'm definitely not going to be out there trying for that because there's no pads protecting you.
Broken nose, broken wrist, broken arm, broken leg, broken ankle. All things that can happen in rugby. It's good sports, but you're right, there's no padding. Bourget back to throw, under pressure. He eludes Mattis. Now he's going to keep it. Goes across 25 to the 20 and slices close to a first down. Bourget there showing the wheels and the presence of mind to just run the football. Boy, the Tigers have all the time in the world here. 1:52 on the clock as it's temporarily frozen. Now the officials will wind the clock here, so 1:50 and counting. Tigers in striking distance in the red zone of the Bobcats, 1st and 10. Bourget has 3 wideouts flanked to the far side, 1 near side, and the tailback next to him is Jesus Valenzuela, who is a great pass receiver. Play action. Bourget rolls to his right. And he'll keep it again. And he's lunging very close to the end zone, inside the 5-yard line to the 4. So a gain of 14 on the carry for Bourget.
And you know what? The score being the way it is right now and how close they are, honestly, it all goes to Bourget because he is utilizing his intelligence in the way that he is able to, move like Jamari Joyner right now with the way he's being very jukey, Jacob would say. And at the same time, he's able to, formulate great plays and make good passing like he did to number 3 down the stretch over there when he was at the 20.
Dangerous weapon. Naked bootleg here, and Bourget skips in for net touchdown. So 5 yards, naked bootleg. It was a play fake to the right side, and he lunges up there, chest bumping with Jesus Valenzuela. So Bourget, his second touchdown running here tonight, 5 yards on the carry, and the Tigers here up on top, 20 to 10.
And that's what's great about Marana, because the quarterback Bourget, if Cienega closes there, has the option to throw it. We saw the receivers cutting left. I may have either extra points and good. Great carry, very accurate, and now the Tigers up on top, 21 to 10. And there is a ball here in the crowd at home. The home crowd is stunned. I don't think these fans here tonight expect the Tigers to be as good as they are tonight. Yeah, you know what? Again, it goes to week 1. Week 1 was an upset because it looked like it belonged to Marana, and it was just taken out of their hands and put into the claws of the Bobcats. And as you can see here, they're not winning up with it tonight. This is a bigger stage and a bigger game. This one means the most.
most out of the whole season. They feel as if they win this game, they get back that game plus some.
Well, the Cats have 57 seconds here to try to make something happen. And if the Bobcats can put some points on the board, it would give them momentum, which I think they need going into the locker room at halftime. I'm going to go down to the locker room at halftime. I want to hear what the coaches have to say here about how they're going to change things up here going toward the second half. I would expect some fiery passion in that locker room.
You were the fly on the wall in week 1, too.
I'll be the fly on the wall again in week 11 and week 12. Ball's returned across the 30-yard line to the 32. And it was Terrell Huggins on the return. 50.9 seconds on the clock.
And it's funny, we are yet to see, and I was expecting it to be where we would see, players like Terrell and on the other side for the Tigers, a full run and a full touchdown right off the kickoff, and we're yet to see that, and I think it's just because of the intense defense that they're playing at both sides and not letting it happen.
Cats wide open here. Jamari holds the football on a quarterback draw. Looked like a designed play, and he gets a yard. So Jamari running the football not very effectively here in the first half tonight, and now the clock is just ticking away. 38 seconds and counting. Cats are looking at a 2nd and 9. Tigers showing blitz. Ball's thrown here to Rodney Rogers at the 37-yard line. The clock continues to run, 25 seconds and counting. Not a very efficient drive here at the end. The Cats trying to muster their way quickly to the line of scrimmage. 15 seconds and counting. Boy, a lot of time here squandered off the clock. Jamari back to throw. Down the middle to Rogers. Rogers at the 45-yard line. It'll be a first down. The clock will stop here momentarily, and the Cats will snap the football and spike it, and have a chance for maybe 2 plays here to make something happen.
No, this is a one-play situation right here.
You got to spike the football. The clock runs. 5 seconds, maybe 4.9 seconds. Whoever's running the clock down below, they had one eye on the field, on the officials, and one hand on the button to stop the clock. 4.9 seconds.
That's some incredible multitasking right there.
That's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure.
So 4-9. You have a chance here to make one quick play and get out of bounds, or they may just go for everything now. Jamari back to throw, and they're going for the whole kit and caboodle. Under pressure, rolls to his left, pumps, and fires it toward the end zone. There are 2 receivers in the end zone. Oh! Touchdown! Terrell Hayward! Wow! Unbelievable!
That was incredible.
Hey, kid! At the back line of the end zone. Went up there with 2 hands and caught it for a touchdown.
Wow, that was the most impressive. That's the Gatorade, Powerade play of the night, whatever you want to call it. That was one of the most impressive catches we've seen all season. And under pressure like that, having 2 defenders right on your tail, having to leap over them like that, that's some way to get out of this quarter. And you got to feel pretty confident going into the half off of that, very, very impressive catch.
Yes, and there's an injured Cat down at the 45-yard line. That's Carter Clark, the senior offensive and defensive lineman. Unbelievable. So 4.9 seconds. Jamari rolled to his right, was under pressure, rolled it back to his left. He had room to run. He just pumped, he turned, and he fired it to the near side here in the end zone, between the G and the A. And there was Terrell Hayward, 44 yards on the touchdown catch. 44 yards, touchdown reception there by Terrell Hayward.
Looking like Aaron Rodgers on that play.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I don't know whose headset I turned up here, but if it was yours, sorry. It's good to see Jamari going out there to make sure that his mate is all right. Kyle Bowen, the great trainer, and then Dr. Tyan Dean, the team doctor for the Bobcats. Wow, that's a huge momentum boost going into the second half here as Ezra Figueroa comes out to attempt the extra point. Luis Morales, number 15, the backup quarterback, adroit with the extra point holds, puts it down, and Figueroa drills it through. Halftime score, Tigers 21, Cat 17.
And what is Ezra Figueroa? He's barbecue chicken. I'm telling you guys, that man is barbecue chicken. He showed it on 2 impressive field goals tonight. Under pressure, the 42, 44-yard one, And this one right there, I didn't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of rushers coming at him from that left side of him.
I did not notice it.
Yeah, definitely some pressure right there, and that was pretty impressive to see. And he's kind of the way he kicks it allows him to get it off quick enough to where he avoids any injury to himself. And I think he's done a really amazing job all season.
Well, we've seen spectacular plays all season long from Terrell Hayward. We've also seen Jamari Joyner pull rabbits out of his hat, and we saw both on the same play. It was Joyner to Hayward. 40 yards, 45 yards on the touchdown catch, and it narrows the deficit here to just 4 points, 21-17. You guys are athletes. You guys have been in locker rooms at halftime. You've seen what momentum can do. How big of a play is that in terms of changing the momentum of the game? Everything was siding toward Marana, and just like that, one play later, and now all the momentum is back in that Bobcat locker room at halftime.
Well, I would have to say it like this. When you're in a locker room and the score is 21-10, you think of it more so as you need 2 touchdowns to get yourself to that spot. And when you have 17-21 off of a very impressive catch like that, it gives you more confidence because everything went right on that play, including of how Jamari Joyner was able to avoid about 3 tackles on that play and give him enough time to launch that one and giving him that touchdown, which gave it the score of 21-17 right there.
Definitely what's being said in the locker room is changed now after that play, but I think you stick with the same game plan as you would if it being 21-10.
Yes, definitely, and it's always better going in there, seeing it as we need 1 more touchdown to regain the lead instead of you need 2 more to catch up to the lead.
I think we might see the Cats run the football more in the second half.
I think so too.
They did not run the ball very often, and I think what we saw there with Devin Garrett, their senior running back, number 25, Thomas Webb getting some carries, maybe Gio Owens, I think we'll see more of a committed attempt to run the football. And I think we also saw something that was working for the Cats late in the second quarter. It was finding Terrell Hayward on little short intermediate routes kind of out in space. So he can find little pockets of room to maneuver, and you can see what he does when he catches the football. He is a threat in every facet of the game. We've seen him return interceptions, pick 6 for touchdowns. We've seen him return punts for touchdowns. We've seen him return kickoffs for touchdowns. We've seen him make receptions for touchdowns. Now we've seen him catch a Hail Mary for a touchdown catch. What can't Terrell Hayward do, number 7?
Yeah, that's why he leads the team in all-purpose yards.
Definitely. But I think it just goes to show how well, this team is coached to, fight through pressure instead of, bowing down when you're down. Cienega never puts their hats down and says, this game is over. They fight till the end, and it just goes in that competitive fire that Pat Nugent, being a college coach, puts in and infumes and puts that gasoline in the tank to fire up this engine.
Well, I think we have 2 teams here that are supremely confident. You have 2 teams that are cresting or peaking at the right time here in week 2 of the playoffs. And again, the Tigers have not lost since week 2. You know that they have vengeance on their mind, but more importantly than that, you want to advance into the 3rd weekend of the playoffs. So what's up for grabs? Well, everything, both into the Final 4 next Friday night at a neutral site somewhere in Tucson, potentially, right? If the Cats win, it'll be down in Tucson. If the Tigers win, it would be somewhere up in Phoenix because the other higher-seeded teams are up in Phoenix. So if the Cats win, their path to the title game is the best possible route that you could hope for. So we'll see what happens. You guys, anything else to add here before we go into halftime?
Nothing on my end.
All right, we'll take a break. If you're watching at home, there are 12 minutes on the clock here, and then after the 12 minutes, there should be an additional 2 or 3 minutes put on the clock for the kids to warm up again. So set your watches at home, synchronize your watches to 12 minutes. We'll be back in 12. You're watching exclusive coverage of Cienega Bobcat football, 5A playoffs, a crazy shootout game here from Cienega High School. The Tigers on top, 21-17. Welcome back from Cienega High School, round 2 of the playoffs as we're getting ready for the second half. As Mr. Miller is making his way up here, we approach 2 minutes to go till the second half.
All right, second half of action.
Second half.
I'm breathless already.
I know. That was an eventful last play to go out into the locker rooms with.
Well, we'll see how that impacts the second half as Jaime Avila kicks off and a missile that just goes past Terrell Hayward. I tried to get to the locker room, boys. I ran into so many people, Nathan Peterson being one of them. He writes for All Sports Tucson. So it delayed me from getting into the locker room, which I never made it to. The closest I got was the manager's office to hit the bathroom really quickly, and then I saw a lot of the players coming through the tunnel there and some of the coaches as well.
It is always packed in that tunnel. That tunnel usually is swarming with people, so I'm not surprised by that.
Well, the Cats here will open up 1st and 10 from their own 20. Joyner on the keeper here near side. Jamari a chance to bust it all the way. Jamari Joyner, it's a foot race to the house. 80-yard touchdown for Oceans 11. Jamari Joyner.
You could tell right when he was about to run it that was going to go to the house. A lot of space, used his speed, and 23-21 Cienega.
Well, I call him Oceans 11 because he wears the number 11, but you've heard the expression, a rising tide lifts all boats. Joyner is a force of nature. He lifts all the players up around him and makes them better.
definitely does right there, and that was a very impressive play to see right there from him. I think the offensive line was taught a lesson in that locker room about what was happening.
There's for Figueroa, extra point. And just like that, on back-to-back plays, it was Terrell Hayward on a Hail Mary, a miraculous touchdown catch, 40 yards going into the locker room at halftime. The opening play of the second half, it's Ocean's 11. Jamari Joyner, 80-yard touchdown run. It was a track race, and it just sprinted past the entire defense.
Yep, definitely right there, trotting down the lines, definitely passing each number. Definitely very impressive to see that going out the gates right there. It only took them one offensive possession for them to do that. Very impressive to see right there, and I think the tides might be turning right here. But don't ever count out the Marana Tigers. They are a competitive spirit that fights till the end.
Truly. Well, I think we talked about it late in maybe going into the locker room at halftime. But I thought Cienega would come out with a renewed emphasis on running the football. And there they go. A big play offense. We've seen it time and time again. And you just wonder now how Marana will respond to the adversity they faced here on back-to-back plays. 11:47 on the clock. The Cats have claimed their first lead of the game, and they're up 24-21. Ball is received at the 25-yard line.
Wow. Right there, just mobbed right there. Honestly, I think if Ezra Figueroa improves his kickoff capabilities, he will be a all the way around elite kicker, period. And I honestly have to say I'm very impressed with the way he's developed all season long. Very impressed with to see,
These are my mittens.
I know, it's very cold.
You've heard about the kittens that lost their mittens. I'm wearing them tonight. So the kitty cats. Cienega High School, 24-21. Oh, there's a big play by Nate Amico. So Nate comes through here. And he rodeo ropes Renee Valenzuela down to the ground. Yeah, these are my little, now McVeigh, if your hands are cold, I'm afraid you would stretch out these little mittens of yours, because your hands are bigger than mine.
Yes.
$5 at Old Navy. They double as mittens or thief gloves, with gloves with just the thumb covered.
That's actually pretty sick. I wonder if they make them in extra large.
They're one size fit all. Here's Bourget off the quarterback keeper coming near side. Yeah, it's getting chilly out. It'll only get colder as the playoff season progresses.
The temperature may be dropping, but the game is getting heated.
Oh, yes. Well said, McVeigh. Well said. Substitutions now coming in here. And the Bobcat crowd, for the first time maybe tonight, is really rising in unison here. 3rd down and 17. This is a huge play. And Trent Bourget is directing traffic at the quarterback position. Flags here, and I think we have a delay of game going against the Tigers.
Yep. That will definitely affect them this drive, and they'll probably end up possibly punting it. Just if they're not able to make this play happen right here. This is a big play. Being that close to your own end zone, this is pretty dangerous territory that you're in right now.
3rd down and 22. 5 wide outs, 3 far side, 2 near side. Bourget takes 2 steps. Now steps up in the pocket. He's going to run. He's got one man to beat there. It's Harshman. He slides close to the first down, but he's maybe 3 yards shy. So certainly this is punt position here for the Tigers, not the way they wanted to open things up on their first offensive series here in the second half.
And Coach, when did they put the slip and slide on the field? Because he's been slip and sliding all game long, and I think that is more so the careful ability that he has, where the quarterback usually does is slide. I think Jamari Joyner has been a little bit more dangerous with the way he's been running, and I like the way that Trenton is going at this right now as a quarterback, trying to run the ball and facilitate.
A lot of deliberate slides. We saw Russell Wilson in the NFL game last night, the Seahawks win over the Arizona Cardinals, as Jaime Avila averaging 38 yards a punt. Booms one past here. Hayward at the 25-yard line. A dangerous returner goes to the far side, bounces it, finds the edge across the 40. There's a flag down midfield. Across the 40-yard line, a stiff arm, and down to the 25-yard line. A Herculean effort there by Terrell Hayward, although there is a penalty marker down back at the 30-yard line.
Hercules right there. I know some of us know that reference. Mr. Really know that reference?
It's a Martin. What's his name?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, but also wasn't Martin Lawrence in that team?
No, it's
Is it
the Clumps.
Oh, the Clumps, not Dr. Doolittle.
No.
Okay, I knew it was one of those films. I was way off, actually, McVeigh.
Oh, it's all good.
I know that line. Hercules. That's what you're going for. I know the line, but I didn't know what it came from.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. So it's a block in the back there against one of the special teamers that sprang Hayward. A threat every time the football is in his hands, and we've seen him do the entire spectrum of miraculous plays this season. A pick six, a punt return, a kick return for a touchdown, receiving. He threw a pass for a touchdown against South Point, which was huge. A 34-yard strike to Trey White, and then also tonight, the Hail Mary reception. That one will go down in the annals of Cienega great plays.
Definitely.
First and 10 Cats at their own 20. Joyner again on the keeper. Bounces it outside. Looking for a block here, and he didn't get it. Rogers was waiting for one more player. So back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
And it's funny, I've started to notice with football teams, from the start of the season, it seems like they're almost childlike, just in the sense that they develop quick, just like children do. And I think that's the kind of the mentality that's going on here. They're developing fast, and you can see Cienega has taken all the stuff that they've been throughout that half and utilized it and, interpreted it in the best way possible to get the lead back.
Well, we know one thing, and I say this when I go to Arizona Wildcats football games. We know the Cats at the U of A and at Cienega can win track meets. We know they can win shootouts. We've seen it. We've seen them do it. We know they have the ability to come back from adversity and win ball games. Joyner back to throw. Takes 2 steps very patiently now. He's under pressure, and he doubles back this way. Now he tries to cut it up. Gets a block. Near side, picks up the first down. Samari Joyner, 13 yards on the run, maybe 70 yards actually running in process.
Again, one of those plays that they should have got Joyner in the backfield, but ends up the game.
It definitely does right there, and he's scurrying around like a cat. And right there, as nimble as can be, and very elusive right there. Probably one of the most elusive quarterbacks in Tucson. Definitely a very competitive, very smart quarterback right there. And that was just a great play right there to fend off at least about 4 to 4 tackles, I would have to say.
Well, Jamari Joyner is supersonic, no doubt about it. First and 10, Cats from their own 34. Hayward in motion. Joyner on the keeper here, threads his way patiently for 3 yards. Tackled on the play by number 52, that's Angel Ledesma, one of the captains on the Tigers team. 8:43 on the clock in the third quarter. The Cats on top 24 to 21. I'm going to throw a shout out there to Nikki Mattis, watching in the Hawaiian Islands. I FaceTimed her at halftime. Her mother brought her phone up here so I could say hi to her. And also her brother Tyler Mattis and his wife out in Disneyland. Joyner on the keeper near side, goes forward for 11, maybe 12. There's a holding penalty here that will bring that play back.
I had a similar experience living in Massachusetts.
All the Mattis family are products of the Mattis Gym that Todd Mattis runs. Do you know Mr. Mattis? He's also built like a house.
Yeah.
House.
I've known, I would have to say, since 7th grade I've known Zach Mattis, and from the very first day I met him I said, man, I would not want to fight this kid. Definitely very, very strong, but one of the nicest guys out there, definitely joke around with him in Mr. McConnell's room, U.S. history, definitely a fun class. Shout out to Mr. McConnell if you're hearing this.
Another big Penn State fan. The Mattis family love the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Joyner, second down, rolls to his left, sets his feet, looks to throw, comes back this way now, eludes a tackler, and throws it far side. Hayward catches it, lost his man, cuts it the inside, across the 45 to the 48-yard line. So 22 on the catch there from Hayward. And it looked like it was a dangerous pass as Joyner was near side at the near hash, and he threw it all the way across the field. The defender that was out there in space had interception and pick six on his mind, and that defender was Diego Miranda. Hayward went vertical, caught the ball, and then put on an extra 10 or 11 yards for another first down. Terrell Hayward is breaking the will of the Tiger defense.
Slowly but surely, definitely crumbling away right now through intense running positions. Like you said,
Hayward again, near side, across the 40, picks up 12, and scampers out of bounds. Well, he just breaks tackles. And I think he's gassed. I think he's winded right now because Hayward is making his way toward the sideline here. Get the kid some oxygen and get some Powerade into him.
Well, that's some agua, bro. Some agua.
Well, the Cats here now, again, making an effort to run the football. There's Devin Garrett, right side. And Devin picks up an easy 6.
Get a Bowie knife and cover it, like just bedazzle it.
Second.
Like it'll be rainbow bedazzle.
I accept this.
There's literally one of them. That was like
Jamari Joyner on the quarterback keeper picks up 7 and a first down for the Cats.
Being the quarterback that Jamari Joyner is, where he runs the ball a lot, usually, I'm wondering how he never, ever seems to get winded like Terrell Hayward is right there. He always seems very consistent with the way that he moves and never, ever falters.
A true athlete. Devin Garrett now lowers his shoulder and picks up another 7. Devin Garrett is the blue-collar, yeoman, workman running back, number 25, the senior, and he's always going north-south. He may take a step to the right or a step to the left, but his next move is forward. He's always going vertically, running downhill, as the coaches would say. 6:20 on the clock here. It's 2nd and 3. Handoff goes, actually it's Joyner on the keeper, near side, and he picks up enough for a first down. He picks up 5. Bobcats playing some smash mouth football here, and they're trying to impose their will against this Tiger defense.
Like you called before the half end. They're running.
They're running. And Mr. Miller called it.
Yep.
I think right before we celebrated at that Terrell touchdown, I think you yelled, they're probably going to go for that running.
Devin Garrett, far side. Mattis tries to spring him on a block or pick up 2 on the play. Well, running the football does a couple of things. It gives your defense some time to catch their breath. It also keeps that high-octane offensive attack led by Trenton Bourget on the sidelines. So the Cats here doing something strategic and very intelligent by trying to impose their will with their offensive line, and they're trying to play smash-mouth football here. I think it's a great strategy. 5:20 on the clock. Cats up on top. 24-21 here in the third quarter. Jamari Joyner on the quarterback keeper spins. Nice his way close to the end zone. And he's down at the 1. 13, maybe 14 yards on the play from Joyner.
Our sports announcer definitely has to be a different kind of character. I've yet to see another one like him.
He's high energy.
He's high energy. I mean, I don't think I can hold that, Cienega like he does.
Yes, sir. Tim Nichols, the great photography teacher, part of those CTE programs here at Cienega.
There was one back in week 1 against Marana.
Oh, yes.
Joyner stacked at the line of scrimmage.
Yes, I do.
Oh, at Marana, week 1?
Marana, week 1.
He was good.
Joyner taking down 2. Second goal, Cienega.
But I think that the crowd can feed off the energy of a public address announcer in football and in basketball. You can see that have an impact. So second and goal here from the 2-yard line. Hayward goes in motion to the far side. Now he comes back near side. Handoff goes to Terrell Hayward. Hayward in for a touchdown. Hey, 2-yard touchdown for the great Terrell Hayward.
And it was evident that in my mind I was thinking as he drove in for that touchdown of the fight song. And everybody here, that is a favorite part of the game, is at the end of the game when we win, we love to hear that fight song and have all the players come down. And that is a tradition that Pat Nugent himself pin-marked and kind of, certified himself as something that needs to happen every game.
Well, that was another errant snap, and you saw Luis Morales reach back to his left, catch it, and place it down instantly. Ezra Figueroa's extra point makes it 31-21 with 4:24 on the clock in the third quarter.
Definitely a big turn of events right here, like changing gears. Cienega has done an amazing job of turning what seemed to be in the second quarter, nearing towards the end, a upset possible loss to an impressive comeback to have it at 31-21.
Yeah, the Cats turned an 11-point deficit. They were down 21-10. The Hail Mary going into the locker room at halftime by Terrell Hayward. And then on subsequent possessions, Jamari Joyner an 80-yard touchdown run, Terrell Hayward a 2-yard touchdown run, 21 unanswered points. The Cats up on top, 31-21.
Yep, and they used that touchdown play that was, set us into the half to propel us, and that was our Waterboy quota, tackling fuel, wouldn't you say? No, Jacob?
Never seen the movie.
No, oh, that is a shame.
I also have not seen the movie.
Oh, no.
Starring Adam Sandler as the Waterboy.
Oh, God.
And Henry Winkler, I know that. I know him as the Fonz from way back in TV Land days.
Yeah.
Happy days. Well, this is really interesting. This is a critical possession here for Marana. They are hemorrhaging points. And they've got to try to find a way to put something together here that is sustained. And you wonder, Trenton Bourget was so hot, and you wonder if sitting on the bench here for about the last 8 minutes or so has cooled him off to a degree. 1st and 10 Tigers from their own 32. 3 wideouts flanked near side, 1 far side. Bourget takes 2 steps. It's a flare pass to the right side. Big hit there. Missed tackle though. Got to wrap him up too. It was Diego Rivas on the hit.
Man, that was like a headbutt play right there. He headbutted him and he kind of took the contact and rolled around him. Very aggressive play right there, but they kind of needed that to push them back and kind of diminish that confidence that they have right now.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Bourget sprints out here to his left. Really good at throwing from his left. He's going to keep this one now, and he's chased out of bounds by Diego Ruby. So Trenton will pick up 6 on the play, and it sets up a 3rd down and 6.
And that's one thing, one key piece that keeps them in the game is Trenton Bourget. He is kind of their heart, their soul, what really pushes them. And I think it's pretty important that he is, a part of how they run this football team.
3rd down and 8. Bourget back to throw. Looking near side. Throws. He's got a man open. In and out of his hands. He dropped it. It was Tariq Jordan, number 7, the junior. The ball was in his hands.
And that's a catch you have to make, especially down 10 points. And you have to think maybe their confidence might be a little bit low after 21 unanswered points.
Yeah, I think it really does have to go back to that touchdown that Terrell made. Definitely a very important key moment in this game, because what people don't understand is going into the half, when somebody scores on you in such a theatrical way, it makes it a little bit more harder for you to come back in with that kind of focus and that mentality of we're going to win this game.
Well, the Cats now putting the pedal to the metal. They have a chance to break this game open as Avila punts here to the talented Terrell Hayward at the 20. Fair catch signal. One of the many skills that he has in his bag of tricks is the ability to make the fair catch, which is a very difficult thing to do.
and Hayward makes it look easy.
Well, when you have 200-pound giants coming at you,
probably screaming too.
I mean, I think it's more so that mentality of, you know, you have to make this catch, and it's important that you don't fumble the ball, because then you give them an opportunity to score, and you give your team bad field position, which is just, you know, that's inevitable for them to score on you.
See the Cats here running the football, are doing a little play action here, and may try to pop one big. A little play fake here. Joyner goes down the middle. Pass complete to Harshman across the 50. Stephen Harshman with 2 great catches here tonight. 29 yards on that catch. Well, he's got 2 catches for 80 yards here. So the tight end showing that he can catch the ball when it's thrown his way. Another weapon in the offensive arsenal for Pat Nugent. And it was a play action fake. The Cats have 1st and 10 at the Tiger 48-yard line. 31-21, Bobcats on top. 3 minutes and 5 seconds here on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Handoff goes to Gio Owens. There's a flag down. Gio picks up 3, but it's a holding penalty here that will go against the Cats.
Definitely have not seen that kind of insertion, that insertive mentality that Gio Owens usually has, where he's a big part of this game. Also, Thomas Webb has been also a pretty big part, scoring, I think, about, what was it, 1 or 2 important plays he ran the ball. But Gio has been a little bit, you know, blinding in this game, because he hasn't really made that big of an impact, but I think that he'll turn it around when it hits that 4th quarter mark, especially if the heat starts turning up by the Tigers.
That's a good point. He's got the speed, does Gio Owens, to break it. He's a breakaway running back, and he's averaging for the year 9.3 yards a carry, just 3 touchdowns, but he's got 520 yards rushing on 56 carries. He does not get the ball a lot, but when he does, he can make big things happen. Joyner fakes the option pitch here, and he plows his way forward for 10 yards. 6'2", 206. A big package to bring down to the ground, and now it's 2nd and 10.
And, you know, it's funny, with Jamari Joyner, I don't think enough credit is given to his success to Pat Nugent, who coaches him every single day, day in and day out. He has the amazing talent, and I think Pat Nugent is one of those special kind of coaches that is able to bring out the best in all of his players with his mentality and his background.
Joyner, great play there. Now passes to complete to Hayward. Hayward goes far side, and he scampers inside the 30 to the 25. So a gain of 25 yards on the play. 7-11 is open for business. Terrell Hayward, number 7, from number 11. Jamari Joyner, 25 yards and a 1st down for the Cats.
And that's the 2nd time they've done that, where they run Hayward in the flat. And it's initially like a 3-yard throw, but Hayward uses his speed and got about like 20 on that play.
Anytime you can find him out in space, he has the ability to turn a big play. Handoff goes to Hayward, patiently threads his way to the near side for 2. And it's 2nd down and 8.
And I would have to say, Cienega is probably one of the best teams at misdirection. If you really look at their plays, they usually have at least 2 guys in motion sometimes, and they like to use that as a form of using their 3 best offensive players to utilize their capability to misdirect them. And if you give them that extra second, it could possibly lead to a touchdown.
Joyner back to throw. Looks near side. He's got Huggins. Touchdown, Cats. 26 yards. Huggins from Joyner. Well, the Cats know how to put the pedal to the metal.
I like that.
And you saw it there. We've got Bobcat TV crew up here, the tech crew. They're just going ham right now.
I know.
They're showing all the moves off here. Very festive up on top of the press box here at Bobcat Stadium. Ezra Figueroa set for the extra point. Luis Morales Jr. gets set for the snap. And a nice hold. And Ezra Figueroa converts it again. So the Bobcats here, 38-21. They have exploded for 4 consecutive unanswered touchdowns with extra points. 28 unanswered points. Cats up on top, 38-21. And I would love to know what Pat Nugent was saying to his kids in the locker room at halftime.
you know, I think it has to go more into, you know, how he riled him up and told him, you know what, are you going to let a team that hasn't had to have the best season as you had go to waste because you guys haven't done what you guys need to do? And I think it's more so Pat Nugent is a person that is able to bring out the best in all of his players, including some with a lower potential level, and he utilizes every single one to their full capabilities to bring out, you know, what is a 38-21 lead almost heading into the fourth quarter.
I look at this like a boxing match, and you have a fighter here, and we'll say that the Cats here are a heavyweight champion fighter. Sometimes when a great fighter gets popped with a shot, their natural reaction is to start slugging back. The Cats don't mind getting in slugfest. Fumble on the kickoff. It's down at the 30-yard line. We'll see who comes up with it. The Tigers come up with it. Number 51, Eric Sublet, the junior, on the kickoff recovery.
You know, when our sports announcer started talking, I thought he was going to say first down, Cienega. Definitely expecting that. Jacob, were you expecting anything like that?
On the fumble there?
Yeah.
No, I saw number 51. He recovered it. He also dropped it.
Yeah. Just yeah.
Well, the Tigers here down 17. They've got to make something happen. The Cats have the Tigers by the tail. 1st and 10 from their own 30. It's a pitch to the right side. Turn back into the middle, and a gain of 6 on the play. And that's Jesus Valenzuela on the carry. Second down and 5. 55 seconds on the clock here in the third quarter. The Bobcats of Cienega, the top seed in the 5A state playoffs, up on top 38-21. Bourget back to throw, looks near side, rolls to his left, under pressure. He's going to keep it here, and he scampers out of bounds for maybe 2, maybe 3 on the carry.
Is it just me, or is Bourget basically not taking almost any damage on these runs?
True.
Unlike, you know, Jamari Joyner, who's taking quite a pummeling, but I think it's more so the routes that he's trying to run. I think Bourget is taking a more careful, more conservative route to make big plays happen.
True. He's a scrambler passer, I would say.
Yeah.
And he can run. We've seen him run 2 touchdowns tonight. He's got that ability, but he's looking to throw. 3rd down and 2. Handoff here to Valenzuela near side. 1st down and more. Across the 50. Oh, big tackle there. Gets the fans oohing. You heard it here. Luis Morales Jr. and Diego Ruby combining on the hit.
Sit down, young fella. Just sit down. That right there, they picked him up, craned him up, and dropped him right there. That was an impressive feat of strength right there for 2 Bobcats to do that. I honestly thought he would have got hurt by that one, but, you know, you have to be made of steel to play football.
Still a 1st down there by Valenzuela. Bourget play action fake. Under pressure now. Mattis applying pressure, and there goes Bourget. Scampering across. Nice cut. And he spins down across the 30-yard line. A pickup of 12 and a 1st down here for the Tigers.
That was definitely jukey. That was definitely jukey right there. I'm surprised how he fended off. I mean, I'm pretty positive anybody would be running as fast as him if you have Zach Mattis coming at you at that speed.
That would make me run faster. Zombies at my tail would be making me run faster as well. Villagers with torches would make me run faster. And we have a whistle here now, and I think the Cats, oh, that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter. So the end of the 3rd quarter, the Bobcats have stormed out here in the 2nd half, and they lead 38-21. Jacob, any thoughts here? This has been a crazy game.
If Marana, if they want to come back in this game, they have to score points. They haven't scored points out of the half, and their defense just looks like they've lost confidence off of that 28-0 run now. So
yes.
Both sides of Marana have to pick it up.
17 seems like a bit of a deficit, and it is. But the Tigers here have 1st and 10. If they score a touchdown, they're just down 10 points. 10 points is very manageable for a team like this. We know that Cienega can win shootouts. We also know that Marana can win shootouts. Very confident team. They went on the road last week to Verado, and they won a shootout. I think it was 35-33. So they have confidence. They have a very talented and a gritty quarterback in Trenton Bourget who can do magical things. So this game is not in hand, even though the Bobcats have a 17-point lead. Very dangerous here, as the Tigers have 1st and 10 from the Bobcat 30-yard line.
Here we go, quarterfinals. First down, Marana.
Zach Mattis running out onto the field here. The defense in a bit of disarray. Trenton Bourget surveys the defense, maybe calls an audible at the line of scrimmage. And it's a play-action pitch. He rolls back to his left, throws to the far side. He's got a man. Tion Simmons. Touchdown. 30 yards on the touchdown catch for Tion Simmons.
And I thought I was going to see a lot more of him today. Right there on that.
Oh, if you look at the scoreboard right there, 44-21.
Oh,
they made a mistake.
Mistake.
Yeah, the scoreboard operation has been a little bit in disarray tonight. We can say it like that. So that touchdown there, it was Tion Simmons. He had 3 touchdowns, a hat trick in week 2 against the Cats. And there he is for 30 yards. He got Rodney Rogers in a spin. And now here comes Jaime Avila for the extra point. Nice snap, good hold. The kick is up and it is good. So the Tigers strike back, and it's a 10-point deficit here. Very dangerously lurking are the Tigers of Marana, 38-28. Well, Bourget is a gunslinger, and that is a dangerous, precarious situation for any defense or any defensive coordinator to be in when you have a quarterback who just likes to air it out. So the Tigers have a team that is very dangerous because they're used to scoring points in bunches and they can score very quickly. It's not a team like Ironwood Ridge that's so run reliant and has to run the football deliberately and takes time to eat up the clock. The Tigers can strike very fast. The Cats have to keep putting points on the scoreboard. 11:51 here might be an opportunity for the Tigers to try an onside kick. We'll see if they go the conventional route here. The great kicker, Jaime Avila, the junior, number 83 on the kickoff. And he strikes this one deep into the end zone here, where it'll be a touchback, and the Cats will have 1st and 10 from their own 20.
If you're Cienega here, you just stay with your game. Run the ball. You're up 10 points in the 4th quarter. Let the clock run.
I would have to agree with that. But, you know, I will remind you that with down 10, the Tigers scored in 8 seconds. I'm sorry, 9 seconds. If you can do that in 9 seconds, 10 points plus a PAT attempt for 3 points, I'm pretty positive you can recover from that pretty fast. You know, that's not that big of a lead right now. So I think, you know, Cienega needs to stay in attack mode.
Joyner runs. Oh, a late hit there. There was some contact as he was out of bounds. I'm surprised that the linesman on the near side did not throw a flag down. Joyner was running the football. He picked up 5 yards on the play, and he was pushed out of bounds. I think it was number 50, Noah Hedgepeth, the senior defensive tackle, or it may have been number 6, Zayas Ratliff there on the tackle. And so we've got 2nd and 5. Hayward on the carry. Scampers, stutters, lunges, and he picks up 2 yards on the carry.
Hayward, 3rd and 2.
Third down and 2. This is a critical 3rd down here for the Cats. 11-11 on the clock. 11's got the ball here. Joyner, touch pass. Ball's complete to Hayward across the 40-yard line and a 1st down. Oh, beautiful. The feathery touch there from Jamari Joyner, rolling to his left, and it's almost like a free throw where he had that shooter's touch and the wrist follow through, and he found Hayward scampering out here in space for a beautifully placed 1st down. 1st and 10 Cats from their own 39. 10:55 on the clock. It's 38-28. Bobcats on top. It's been a tumultuous affair here tonight. Marana scored the 1st touchdown, and at their high point, they led 21-10. The Cats stormed back with 28 unanswered. Joyner under trouble, and he's brought down for a sack. Sacked by Tariq Jordan. And you hear the other side, the grandstands of the Tigers, erupting here with glee as Tariq Jordan wrapped up Jamari on a sack. So it's 2nd down and 20 here for the Bobcats. I have to say, I don't like the body language I'm seeing here. The Bobcats have their hands on their hips. That's not a very positive body language posture. And I know they're waiting for the play to be signaled in here from the sidelines.
And I think it's more so the situation that they're in, because the next 2 drives by the Tigers will determine the outcome of the game. And depending on their defense and their offense, that will determine it.
We have a flag here. It's a false start. Got some movement there on the offensive line. Offensive line tonight, Carter Clark at left tackle for the Cats. The left guard, Tyree McKinney. The center, Dante Bodie. Right guard, Zach Mattis. And the right tackle, DiMaggio Streve. Been doing a good job here tonight for the Cats. All season long, very well coached. Joyner one-handed, finds Hayward. There's a flag down, and Hayward is wrapped up instantly on that delayed screen. Another holding call here goes against the Cats. Tackle made by Andrew Smith, number 80, the senior linebacker, and safety for the Tigers. So now we're seeing the penalties now snowballing against the Bobcats.
And that just gives away your weakness right there in your durability, you know, your stamina right there. You can tell they're tired, you know, like you said, hands are on the hips.
Yeah.
That usually means I'm tired. You know, I want this game to be over.
And that could probably be the cause for a lot of these flags.
Yeah, and usually, you know what that gives away, though? When other teams look at this, and if they have to face Cienega, they're going to be like, you know what? In that 4th quarter, this is when you attack, because they're tired at this point in time. They use up their first group up so much to the point where they can't really facilitate them well off enough to win games.
Great
and the Cats here were just running the clock down, the play clock down all the way, and they called one of their 3 timeouts. So they called the first of their timeouts. We're looking at a 3rd down and 24 yards to go. This game is far from over. And we'll see what the Cats draw up here on the whiteboard in the huddle.
I'd like to thank them. Harris Family Dental, a general EGRO.
A game of ebbs and flows and momentum shifts, certainly. The momentum now is shifting back toward the side of Marana, and the Bobcats have to call up a play here, try to get a 1st down or at least get some positive yardage where they can have a punt and maybe play some defense and some field position here. With 9:08 on the clock, the Cats up 38-28, looking at a 3rd and 24.
And you know what? Some people don't realize what timeouts are for. They're not for breaks. They're for strategizing. And what Pat Nugent is doing here is he's seeing that they're tired and they're unorganized right now, and they don't have that will to go anymore. And he's using the timeout to calm them down, bring them and collect them, and basically re-rile them up to keep going.
Stephen Harshman back in there at tight end. Joyner looking to throw. Now he's maybe going to keep it. He'll come near side. Looks for some help here. It's going to be close. He skips out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So he picked up about 19 on the carry and makes it a manageable 4th down if the Cats want to go for it. And certainly if they want to punt the football, they have a much better opportunity of pinning the ball inside the 20-yard line. So,
and the penalty right there, the penalties that they faced, turned a 19-yard amazing run right there into a almost 1st down, which is almost unbelievable to see right there. You should never, ever have to run 20 or more yards to get a 1st down, and that just goes back to those penalties.
Well, Jamari Joyner makes the unbelievable believable. Back to return, Jesus Valenzuela. Jamari Joyner on to punt. He averages 39 yards per punt, and he booms this one near side. Special teams coverage is right there at the 20-yard line, and it bounces out of bounds at the 23. So the Tigers will have 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. 8:48 on the clock. A critical possession here for the Tigers, and the Cats' defense has to answer the bell.
And I think that's more so where their weakness comes in, is that their defense needs to learn how to cover the passing, and most of all, stop Bourget. You're going to face quarterbacks with that type of skill set, and even possibly even better than Bourget. So if you can't stop that kind of level of quarterback, what are you going to do when you face another Jamari Joyner?
I agree. And Rodney Rogers, the great corner cover guy, has not been himself tonight. I think he might be slowed down a little bit with something that's bothering him. Handoff goes to the right side. Tackle made by Diego Rivas. And it was Rene Valenzuela on the carry for the Tigers. Gain of 2 at 2nd down and 8. Well, the Bobcats shifted some things up here defensively. Hayward playing safety. Terrell Huggins not out on the field right now. Bourget back to throw. Plenty of time in the pocket. Goes far side. There's Rogers. Interception by Rodney Rogers. Well, that's a huge pick.
And there the momentum goes right back to Cienega.
That right there might have been the deciding play. If I were them, use every single down and utilize it, and mainly just drain time out of this clock. If you score another touchdown, the game is over, because with such an amount of time like that, it is almost impossible for them to recover.
Well, is this criticizing Rodney for being not his typical self? There he is. He makes a huge play in crunch time. And he's fired up, and he should be. Student section, he ran right out to the track here and implored the student section to make some noise. And now you can hear through the PA system a little Queen, "We Will Rock You," trying to get this crowd on its feet. Home field advantage, that's what you have the #1 seed for. Play action, Joyner goes to the right side.
And I'm a little bit disappointed in the refs in this one, because there's been at least 2 to 3 times where Jamari Joyner has been hit after the play is over, and that is just uncalled for. And right there, that is just, refs not catching that right there. And if they can catch 2 penalties in the backfield against Cienega to put it to 20 for a first down, I'm pretty positive they can catch those penalties.
I have a bigger problem with officials that don't protect players. So when you have a player who's defenseless and is out of bounds and clearly out of bounds, then any shove or push or hit should be a penalty, a personal foul. Gio Owens goes right side, picks up 2. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6. Especially when you have a player who is as talented and instrumental to a team's success as Jamari Joyner is. You have to protect the quarterback.
You have to. And, that's why that rule is set in place to protect players, not to hurt them. And if a ref can't catch that play, it honestly just hurts the system and it hurts the player, and possibly can, have injuries that, ruin careers. I mean, look at Gordon Hayward, and look at, amazing football players, even a quarterback that I think in the 80s had broken his leg in half.
Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann, that's right.
Joyner completes to Hayward. Beautiful job of Hayward finding a little pocket of space. And it's 12 yards and a 1st down. I agree, McVay. You have to protect the quarterback. The NFL has rules in place to protect the quarterbacks. Everybody knows who Tom Brady is. Everybody knows who Aaron Rodgers is. Dak Prescott. Those are high-profile athletes. The NFL is a quarterback league. Matthew Stafford. So you think about the big players in the league, quarterbacks come to mind first and foremost. You have to protect those players. Just because Jamari Joyner is a physical runner doesn't mean you can't protect him when he goes out of bounds. Thomas Webb, talking about physical runners, lowers the shoulder, boom, boom, 10 yards and a 1st down here for Thomas Webb Jr. Cats now going back to the run, trying to eat some clock. In an ideal world, they would score a touchdown and take a couple of minutes off this clock.
Definitely, but you know what? The current situation right now, I think this is when the Tigers need to up their defense to a different level. Because if you allow them to score, you're putting your deficit back to a possible 17, 16 without the PAT, and that's just something recoverable from, and that'll define the game's last moments.
Joyner on the keeper gets sandwiched down the line of scrimmage. So no gain. John Morgan, big defensive tackle, 6'2", 270 on the tackle. It's funny, man. Tim Nichols, the public address announcer, is like the conductor of the orchestra. He knows all the right buttons to push to get this crowd oohing, eyeing, and making noise. Gio Owens on the pitch right side, flag down on play. Owens bolts through for a gain of 7, maybe 8. We'll see what the penalty is. It's a block, a chop block here going against the Cats. Dante Bodie here professing that he did not foul the other player. And he's talking to the referee right here, the head ref at the 35-yard line. And he's pleading his case.
And you know, it's funny, refs, you know, even in the NBA, they're trying to start something where refs get kind of critiqued on their job. And I think that should be done with all refs.
Joyner throws, Hayward at the far hash, and he picks up maybe 5 on the catch. That's a good point, McVeigh. I don't know like how closely these officials are scrutinized at the high school level. I'm sure there's a system in place, at least in name, where there's a supervisor that is sent out to critique and to evaluate the officials who are refereeing the game.
And, you know, AIA is a very high standard system, and I'm pretty positive they try and put their best high school refs at that spot to do these kind of games.
The bigger the game, the better the refs. Near side, Huggins! Oh, in and out of his hands!
Oh.
He corralled it with his left hand, and he couldn't make the one-handed catch. Joyner put the ball right on the money. And now the Cats here have a choice to make. The ball's at the 33-yard line. So I don't think punting the ball really does any good. They may go for it here on 4th down and 20. And it might be in the range here of Ezra Figueroa, and they're going to attempt a field goal here.
Barbecue chicken. I want to see it. I want to see it. Ezra, please bless us with another amazing long field goal.
This is 50 yards.
It's 50 yards?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, he's kicked them in practice. This is a huge spot here for Ezra Figueroa, number 18.
Oh, shit.
Pat Nugent called a timeout. So the timeout was called before the attempt was made. And he was a good 7 or 8 yards shy of the uprights there.
So maybe you rethink that.
I think it's outside of his range a little bit. I think 40 yards is about as far as I would stretch Ezra. And you saw Tion Simmons there in the end zone. He had the opportunity to return that field goal attempt if he wanted to and try to take it all the way back.
Well, I think that's why, like I said, I think around the third ending quarter, timeouts are not used for rest. They're times where they strategize. They're strategically used to utilize parts of the game like that, you know, such as used, you know, in cases of, you know, in the NFL where coaches use it in field goal attempts, just like that one right there.
Well, they're going to go for it again.
Come on, Ezra.
Tion Simmons is lurking at the goal line. Luis Morales Jr. at the 40, set for the snap. And there's Simmons in the end zone on the return. And I think the Cats did that deliberately. They brought Simmons down to the 2-yard line.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. Again, that's Brett Holly, like using his chess master, Jedi master logic here. I think they did that deliberately on back-to-back plays.
I think they did too.
It's better than a punch because it pins your opponent inside the 5 automatically.
It does, and you know what? They're utilizing the timeout. I can't say it enough. He saw something right there and called that timeout, and they used it, and now the Tigers in a tough spot with 4:34. This is the time when, you know, this is where champions are made. If they can come back with a touchdown and then another PAT, they possibly can tie up the game and make it even more competitive than it already has been.
Tigers pinned in their own end zone. Bourget inside his own end zone. Time to roll. Rolls to the far side, picks up some yardage, and skips out of bounds for a first down. 10, maybe 11. And Mark just in front of that marker, so 8 on the carry. Well, his last pass attempt was picked off by Rodney Rogers. So in play would be a pick 6 here. Very dangerous to be so deep in your own end. Plus, you're forcing the Tigers to go the length of the field to score a touchdown here. So the clock becomes a factor. 4:25 on the clock. Bobcats on top, 38-28. Trenton Bourget with 4 wideouts near side. Fakes the screen, keeps the football, runs upfield. He's got room to go across the 25. So 12 and a first down here for the Tigers.
Definitely a smart play to have it kick back there. But with Trenton Bourget, they're having a hard time stopping him. He is the heart, the soul, and the legs, it seems like, that push this offense to another level and keep them eye to eye with the Bobcats.
Bourget back to throw. He's got Tion Simmons in and out of his hand. Thomas Webb was playing center field. He was waiting for the football as opposed to attacking the football. Simmons nearly caught that, and Webb had interception on his mind. Thomas has 4 interceptions on the year. Rogers has 3 now. Hayward has 2. So the Bobcat secondary, highly touted, 15, 16 interceptions now on the season. They are a ball hawkish group. They are able to generate turnovers. It's 2nd down and 10, but Webb should have been more aggressive on that one. Bourget back to throw. Screen to the far side. Tion Simmons breaks a tackle and finds some room now to operate across the 40-yard line. 16 yards and a first down for Tion Simmons. Diego Rivas on the tackle for the Cats.
I think this is all about speed. Can you get that ball down the field in the next 54 seconds and utilize your defense and possibly, pray for that offside kick?
Bobcats had too many men on the field, so a free play here for the Tigers. And Bourget is brought down by Zach Mattis. A loss of 1. But you saw Hunter Schlegel trying to jog off the field, unable to get off. So 12 men on the field. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. It stops the clock here at 3:40 and gives the Tigers an extra 5 yards. Plenty of time on the clock. I think the clock is not truly a factor yet. The Tigers can score so quickly that they have the chance here to put some points on the board.
And I'm going to have to respectfully rebuttal you on that one, only because I feel like if they can score in that 40 seconds, it gives them enough time to make sure even if that onside kick doesn't work, they still have enough time to stop them and hopefully pray for something. If you only have a minute left, you're going to have to struggle a little bit to come back and you possibly end the game there.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous situation here that the Cats are in. Their defense is going to have to make a stand at some point. You don't want to go into a situation where an onside kick could be the deciding factor in the game. First and 5. Bourget at his 50-yard line. Back to throw. Steps in the pocket, now keeps it. And he lunges for 6 and a first down. Harshman on the tackle. Bourget picks up another first down with those legs.
Harshman on the tackle. Coverage gets the assist.
Anthony Williams is down here for the Cats, number 45. Maybe a leg cramp.
I honestly have to say, if I were them, since Bourget is basically their the horse that they're riding.
Yes.
If I were them, I would honestly use a long shotgun kind of play where you're trying to get as many of the opposing defenders outside of reach. That way when he runs, he doesn't have so much trouble having to deal with scrambling, and he can just run as far as he possibly can.
Well, Anthony Williams, number 45, the junior defensive lineman, is being attended to here by Kyle Bowen, the trainer, and Dr. Tyan Dean. And we see Anthony getting up here, and he's walking off. A little bit gingerly here. So that brings us a respite in the action. 3:23 stuck on the clock here. And it gives Marana time to draw up a play. It also gives the Bobcat defense a little bit of time to get a breather and maybe a drink of that blue Powerade. So 1st and 10. The ball is at the Cat 44-yard line. Bourget back to throw. There's a flag here, probably a hold against the Tigers. And Trenton gets 12. Holding going against the Tigers. So that's a very costly penalty here against Marana. We've seen Trenton on his legs here very effectively on this drive, picking up yards. He drops back to pass. He sees an open space. The Cats are playing a bit of a prevent defense here, trying to prevent a big passing play from happening. And then Trenton is able to run for distance. Well, now at 1st and 25, that changes the play calling here for the Tigers and almost forces them into a pass situation.
It definitely does. Jacob, what do you think? What kind of play would you run in this kind of situation?
Long pass, as you see 5 receivers going downfield.
Screen near side. Ball is caught across the 50-yard line. Upended. Hayward went down low. Alfred Ibanoa on the catch. And Ibanoa picks up 14, maybe 15 on the reception.
It looked like a trampoline was put on the field right there, bouncing up at least about 3 feet off the ground right there. Pretty dangerous to see that.
Flare goes far side. Jesus Valenzuela on the catch. He spins and is brought down by Harshman. 9 yards, very close to a first down.
And that's 2 plays that were the same, just to the opposite side.
Right. A screen to the right, a screen to the left.
But honestly, if you have to watch Bourget carefully, and then also watch those 2 receivers.
He dropped the snap. Bourget on a delayed quarterback draw picks up 2 yards and a first down. Well, it was nearly disaster for the Tigers, but Bourget, with those able hands of his and his cool nerves, was able to pick the ball off the turf and run for 5 yards and a first down. 1st and 10 from the 34. 2 minutes on the clock. Bourget back to throw. Goes end zone. Tion Simmons had it broken up. It was a late hit there by Luis Morales Jr., who jarred the football out of the hands of Tion Simmons.
That right there might be the second play of the game behind Terrell's, only because that was what they needed. With 1:53 on the clock is far more different than trying to still go for a touchdown with 1:53.
It's interesting. I don't know why Terrell Huggins is now not out on the field at safety. Luis Morales Jr. has played admirably tonight at safety. Terrell Hayward is also at safety. And Bourget rolls to his right, looking for the end zone, now looking to run, and is pushed out of bounds by Dylan Hoos at the 30-yard line. 1:44 frozen on the clock. The Bobcats are clinging to a 10-point lead, 38-28. Tigers now a critical third down at 3rd and 5.
And it is such a shame to see those fans like that in distress right now, hoping and praying for anything that can rile them up.
3rd and 5. 5 wide outs for Bourget. He goes down the middle. Ball's intercepted. It's Nate Amico.
And
a late flag.
I think that's against the Tigers right there.
I think it's pass interference against the Tigers receiver. Let's see what the call is here. Nate Amico, the linebacker, drifting back in coverage. Let's see what the call is. Critical here. Holding. Oh, against a defense. So a defensive hold against the Cats. It did not appear to me that Nate Amico fouled his man.
He didn't. Right there, he got in front of him, and it seemed more so like his receiver was trying to do more because it went over him, and he tried to get it. And that right there should have been a flag on the opposing side right there. And I think that right there is another call that should go against the refs. I think they've had at least about 6 times where they failed to call the right play. And I think they need to check that out.
Well, a chorus of boos cascading from the Bobcat grandstand here. And I think that the Cat fans have a legitimate argument. It appeared as if Amico had the interception. That would have sealed the game for all intents and purposes. 1st and 10 now. Bourget has a second chance. Tigers at the 19. Bourget back to throw. Rolls, spins, steps up in the pocket, throws near side. Ball's complete. Touchdown. Touchdown, Tariq Jordan on the catch.
And I forgot to mention this later, but the crowd has the Cienega effect, and now, Jacob, it is broken. They have broken free of that wretched curse, and right now they have the energy to go. With 1:28 on the clock, right here, Mr. Miller, Jacob, in your opinion, would you go for that 2-point or would you go for that PAT?
Go for 1.
Go for 1.
Then a field goal gives you a chance to tie it. A touchdown gives you a chance to win the game. So first things first. Jaime Avila on the extra point. He's been perfect tonight. Jesus Valenzuela gets the hold down. The kick is up, and it is good. So it's a 3-point lead here for the Bobcats, 38-35.
And there's definitely going to be a roughing the kicker on that play as Diego Ruby ran into Avila.
Well, that's costly too, because that'll be a 15-yard penalty that will be assessed on the return. So no matter how far this kickoff return goes, and let's say this too, it'll be an onside kick. If the Tigers were to recover the onside kick, instead of having the ball at the 45 or the 40-yard line, they would have it at the 30-yard line or maybe the 35. So this is a big opportunity for them to get some extra yardage. The Cats have their hands team out on the field. Well, who's out there? Diego Ruby, number 2. Connor Hawley, number 9. Terrell Hayward, Luis Morales Jr., Jamari Joyner, Trey White. All the hands guys are out there for the Cats. And this is a critical play here. And I have to say, unfortunately, 2 plays ago, I did not see holding, I did not see pass interference, but that was the call on the field by the officials. And it was a decisive penalty that went against the Cats. And then give credit to Trenton Bourget for turning it into something. An 18-yard touchdown pass to Tariq Jordan. And the extra points now brings us to our score, 38-35. The Bobcats here on a critical onside kick attempt. Jaime Avila, number 83, is out there for the kickoff. Skips it. Handled by Terrell Huggins. Well, he fielded it like a shortstop off the turf, and he rolled and cradled it preciously. Beautiful reception there by Terrell Huggins.
Isn't he a baseball player?
He is a baseball player, an outfielder, center fielder on the varsity baseball team.
And if I were them, they need to play the most solid defense of their life. If you want your season to continue and your confidence to continue, you have to keep going and you have to keep fighting. And right here, this is the time. That crowd right there is telling you you can do it. It just all comes down to the Tigers.
The Tigers have 3 timeouts, so the Cats here have to pick up a first down and make the Tigers use all 3 of their timeouts. You do not want to give them the football back. Hayward stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Got to hold on to that football. Tackle made by Zach Roberts. There's their first timeout, so 1:22 on the clock. 2 timeouts left for the Tigers. I could see, I think if you're Cienega, you can throw the football, certainly. Whatever play you design, it's got to pick up some positive yardage here. Put yourself in a position to make a manageable 3rd down conversion. So 2nd down and 11 with 1:22 on the clock.
Now these plays comes all down to whether or not they can stop this drive. If they can make them have to kick it off, that can possibly create the outcome of this game that you want. But you have to utilize your timeouts and your defensive capability to guard all positions, all people on the field.
Tigers have 9 men in the box. Trey White is flanked to the far side. Joyner rolls here on a bootleg to the near side, gets the edge and slides at the 30. It was an awkward slide here, very close to the sideline. And the tackler was Zayas Ratliff, the junior, number 6. So, and Jamari, I think, may have slid out of bounds, so not exactly what you want to do here. And now we have a timeout called by the Tigers. So their 2nd timeout taken. 1:12 on the clock. Bobcats up 38-35. It's a 3rd down and 5. The scoreboard operator's been behind all night tonight. It's a hard job, but they have not kept abreast with the action that's on the field. This is my personal critique. They do have the hardest job, though, I think, in the entire stadium. So,
yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. But this is where champions are made right here, and that was some good. There's 2 consecutive good stops that they have right there, and if they can make one more stop, they're gonna have to force them to have to kick it off, punt it. Definitely gonna force some hope back into the Tigers, but if you give them that first down, the game will possibly be over.
3rd down, 5 yards to go. Devin Garrett back there to block for Jamari Joyner. Joyner play action, rolls to the right. Finds the edge, he's got room to go here. Jamari, first down, spins, lowers the shoulder, picks up 15 and a first down.
And that about does it right there. That's
That
first
does
down.
it right there.
And the coaches take their headsets off.
And off they go down to the field. 1:04 on the clock. All the Cats have to do now is kneel on the football, and they just have to kneel it down 3 times here and call it a night.
And for the seniors of the Tigers, that was the drive of their life. The last one they would ever witness right there. Such a shame to see a season go.
Well, the Cats called the timeout, so the Tigers have 1 left. And they just have to kneel on the football. I like this. Pat Nugent is bringing his whole offense in, and he's making sure that everybody's knows exactly what they need to do here.
Exactly. And I think if you don't know what to do, get out of the play. Because, it doesn't matter, what you want to think. 42 seconds, a mistake. If they don't give them the ball correctly, pick up the ball, run it for a touchdown, the coaches will be running back over here and putting their headsets on as fast as possible.
Well, Jamari Joyner is Mr. Everything for the Cats. And we've seen him just do miraculous things in his tenure as the starting quarterback. He kneels on the football, and the Tigers will call their final timeout. So the clock is frozen at 37.5 seconds, and they cannot stop the clock again. Crazy action here tonight. It was Trenton Bourget, a 12-yard touchdown run on a bootleg. Jaime Avila was perfect tonight on extra points. He made it 7-0. And then it was Thomas Webb Jr. on a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Ezra Figueroa, who was also perfect here tonight on extra points, made it 7-7. And they're back out on the field here. And Jamari will kneel on the football. He has to do this twice. So there's 1. And the clock will continue to run down here. Marana's Rene Valenzuela scored a 1-yard touchdown run, making it 14-7 Tigers. And then Ezra Figueroa kicked a 42-yard field goal. You see Jamari running off the field here, getting high fives. Does a flying chest bump with Jeff Bull now. Sees Big Nate Amico. And now he walks on the track here to the student section. We can get a shot of Jamari here off the field. And then he gives a 5 to Rodney Rogers, who had a big interception here tonight. So Jamari, Terrell Hayward, Rodney Rogers, maybe Stephen Harshman, 21. Those are all players that we want to talk to here after the game. As you see the players from both teams shaking hands at midfield. Andy Litton, the head coach at Marana, has resurrected this program from the dead. They were a non-factor, a non-entity in Tucson in football, and he has built them into a perennial contender here in Southern Arizona. Green Creek and Notre Dame in overtime tied at 28. The winner of that game will head down to Tucson to play the Cienega Bobcats at a neutral site. We were speculating about the neutral site, where that could be. Maybe Ironwood Ridge, maybe Mountain View High School, maybe South Point Catholic, maybe Catalina Foothills. All those fields would be in play. Maybe Keno Stadium. I have no idea where next week's Final Four, the semifinal game, will be played down in Tucson. But the Bobcats of Cienega High School advance in the playoffs. And for Jamari Joyner, Ocean's 11, he now improves to 24-1 as a starting quarterback. And the Cats are a perfect 12-0. It is set up as well as it possibly could be for them. Their route couldn't be any better for them. A neutral site game played down in Tucson, and I would hope that Tucson would come out to support a Tucson school.
Considering, me personally coming from the 2019 class, my class, in my opinion, is one of the greatest football classes Cienega has ever had, because we've never lost a game in any competition. of football. And, you know, it's really impressive to see this. And they are definitely moving and grooving right now. And I think they have all the confidence.
I have to agree with you. Never lost a game, and they're looking to continue that for this year and next year.
They're battle tested. They've been in some crazy games, and they've always found a way to dig deep and make plays when it counts. They've come back against teams. They came back against Marana tonight. They came back against Marana in week 1. They came back against Ironwood Ridge. This team has found a resiliency inside of them that they can come back when they need to.
But then it comes down to when you face Phoenix teams, which are one of the most elite ones in Tucson, how are you able to, you know, take those teams, considering that they have a different mindset and a different type of way of playing football, and being more formulated to play against all types of teams all around the state? You know, it's more so, how are you resilient against the teams in Tucson, as well as how are you resilient to the teams in Phoenix?
Yeah, and Coach Pat Nugent said that a state championship from a Tucson team would bring respect to these Tucson teams.
Well, Queen Creek and Notre Dame in overtime tied at 28, so we'll see how that game shakes out. And if we have the results, of that game, we will definitely let you know what happens in that game. Queen Creek and Notre Dame tied at 28 in overtime, so the Cats will play the winner of that game next week at some neutral site that we don't know where it will be at yet. Think about this, guys. Terrell Hayward with 3 touchdowns tonight, so a hat trick for the Tay kid. A 40-yard touchdown catch on a Hail Mary in the back line of the end zone with both toes planted in bounds. That was right before the half, the play of the game. And he also scored on a 2-yard touchdown run and a 26-yard touchdown catch from Jamari Joyner. Joyner had 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, and 1 running the football. And then he just made crazy plays happen all night, as he always does. Jamari Joyner carries this team. He does it on a week-by-week basis. Terrell Hayward, it's kind of like Batman and Robin. Terrell Hayward is Robin, and Jamari Joyner is Batman. That's quite a sidekick to have.
It is. And you know what? Everybody is climbing on the back of Jamari Joyner, and they are riding to victory. At the moment, their spirits have never been higher. They feel the confidence and the ability to go up against a Phoenix team. Being able to, they've only had 2 competitive fights against 2 consecutive teams, which is Ironwood Ridge and this amazing Marana program. And it is almost incredible to see how this week, from week 1 to now, how things have formulated.
All right, we've got Jillian Summers, and she's down there at midfield with Ezra Figueroa. And I guess she's waiting for our signal here.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here on the field with number 19, Ezra Figueroa. He is the junior, and he is the kicker for the Cienega team. So, Ezra, all season we have seen that you put together amazing plays tonight, and you held an incredible 49-yard field goal. How does it feel accomplishing such a long distance?
It was just, you have to do it like in practice. I mean, you practice hard, work hard, and then in the game you just prove it. Prove it's right.
It's great. And so this was the Bobcats versus Tigers, part 2. We know that the first game was a tough game. It was nail-biting. It was long. It went into overtime. So tell us how this game felt different than the last game.
I kind of had faith in our team the second half that we would come back. Just like the last time, we came back after losing the first half. And I don't know. It's just, we just pushed through. We never stopped believing in each other.
That's great. And how do you feel going into next week's game with such a great win?
Oof, I feel confident. If we get a good practice, I promise a state game's coming.
That's great. That's great confidence. And lastly, what words of pride or encouragement do you have your team?
Let's get a good practice this week, and let's do it. Let's just do it.
That's great. Thanks, Ezra. Stay tuned, guys, because we're going to have more interviews with more players. Thanks.
All right, good job by Jillian Summers, our reporter down on the field there with Ezra Figueroa. I love what he said there. Confidence, they are sky high. Another great week of practice, and they'll be ready to go. And it looks like Nick Lear is going to be down there with Stephen Harshman. And we're going to throw it down to Nick down on the field.
They're joined down by Stephen Harshman. Stephen, how do you feel in your win tonight? What did you do right? What do you think went your way?
I had a couple of good catches early in the game and then late in the game that I felt like really gave us some momentum going into drives. Something that I need to work on is definitely Trent Bourget. That man had me on skates all night, but I'm gonna get better at that. Breaking down and tackling better.
What do you think you need to work in a practice this week to prepare for next week?
Definitely just swarming to the ball and not missing any tackles. Really hitting tackling drills hard this week.
And Terrell had a huge catch right before halftime. How did that fuel your team? Did that give him motivation? Like, what happened?
Terrell's just a beast. So, like, when he makes a big play like that right before halftime, we were kind of down because it was like, 20 to 10, and we were all feeling kind of down. But then he scored that, spectacular touchdown. No seconds left on the clock. It definitely gave us some momentum going into the second half.
All right, that was Stephen Harshman. I'm Nick Lear. Back to you guys.
All right, good job, Nick. It looks like we've got one more interview coming, and I think Bella Cousins is going to talk to Oceans 11, Jamari Joyner. And let's see here. We'll throw it down to Bella down on the field with the great Jamari Joyner.
Hey, Bobcat TV. I'm here with Jamari Joyner again. Where do I even start? What do you have to say about tonight?
We had a real big breakout game. It's a way different game from last game because we really came out and did what we had to do on the offense and defensive side, and we just dominated the game in 4 quarters.
How did you feel in the beginning of the game? Because in the beginning, you guys weren't looking too hot, but then you guys caught up and you brought it back home.
In the beginning of the game, we were really trying to see what they're going to come out in and what their formations were going to be. And once we figured out what they're going to do, we came out second half guns blazing.
How excited are you to be going to such a big state competition? How does that feel? What are you going to change this year from last year?
We're really going to come in motivated, and we're going to do what we have to do to win this year. It doesn't matter what we have to do, we're going to win.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Jamari. I hope you guys do well. And I don't know if we have our last interview. Thank you. Have a good time tonight. I don't know if we're signing off yet.
All right, I'm just going to cut her microphone off.
I know. Just cut her off. Just cut her off.
She doesn't know what's going on down there. She did a great job in the interview, though.
I think she's still talking, though.
She is still talking. Bella Cousins with Jamari Joyner. I like what he said. He's like, I'm going to come out in the second half, guns blazing. That's one thing that I caught from that interview. The second thing that I caught from him was he's like, whatever it takes to win, we're going to go and do it. And I think having that experience from last year, we know what happened against Centennial at the neutral site Tucson High School last year in that Final Four game. And Centennial just ran the ball roughshod over the Cats. The Cats were down 21-0 in that game. They were stunned. I think the stage, the magnitude of the game, I don't think that the Cats are ready for that game last year. I think the experience from last year, the experience from this team this year has them ready to go next Friday night.
And I think more so it goes into who is experienced. Jamari Joyner is who you want experienced because he is the one that you're riding to the championship. If he's not experienced, you can't depend on him in those situations where he's stunned like that. If he has already had an upset, there's no reason why he shouldn't expect nothing but the worst next game and prepare for it like it's going to happen.
I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If I have a game and I need somebody to be my quarterback, I'm taking Jamari Joyner, number 11, Oceans 11, Jabu, Supersonic. Jabu the Hutt. Whatever you want to call him. I want Jamari as my quarterback because that kid can make miraculous things happen. We've seen it time and time again. Consider his record, right? He is 24-1 as a starting quarterback at Cienega. Back-to-back perfect regular seasons. And he puts this team on his legs, on his shoulders, on his mind, his decision-making. He makes such great decisions as a quarterback. He's a gunslinger. And I loved what he said here. I'm going to come out in the second half, guns blazing. We saw it. Guns blazing was 80-yard touchdown run to open the second half of scoring. And the Cats battled back. They faced adversity here. Marana came in very focused. Really tough team to play against. And their quarterback is sterling as well. So Trenton Bourget just played beautifully here tonight. And it was a tough matchup. The Tigers were thinking upset. That, again, it was Joyner connecting with Terrell Hayward on a miraculous Hail Mary. So tonight I will say maybe 5 Hail Marys and just thank the Virgin Mother for connecting on that play. If God's rooting for somebody, maybe they're rooting for Cienega. I don't know.
I don't know. But I'm definitely impressed with the kind of attitude that they're going about this. Ezra, prove it, Jamari Joyner going out guns blazing. They're showing that they're fighting for not only their own victory, not only their team's victory, but the school's victory, and for everyone's victory that is a Bobcat. And you can tell that they have a good supporting cast behind Jamari Joyner, who is ready and prepared. And with the leading of Coach Nugent, definitely an impressive game right here, and it just shows how he can bring the best out of every player.
Great sign of respect here. You see Trenton Bourget midfield getting handshakes here from Trey White and Carter Clark and Nate Amico. They have tremendous respect for him because of how good of a player he is, how talented and how gritty, how tough. Without Trenton Bourget, the Tigers are just a normal team.
They are.
And I would say without Jamari Joyner, the Bobcats are just a normal team, right? So they've done tremendous things out here tonight. Any last thoughts here before we sign off this broadcast?
Well, I just want to note, when the game ended, Trenton Bourget just went to the middle of the field, put a kneel down, and was there for about 3 minutes, saying his last goodbyes. Junior? Saying his last goodbyes to the season.
But you know what? I would never put it past him. Trenton Bourget, when he comes back next season, since he is a junior, he's going to be even more competitive because he knows his team. He's already faced 2 losses to them in a very close battles on each side, and he is a prepared quarterback to take any fire on each side from any team. Now, especially if this is a team that wins a championship, he knows that he at least lost to the champions of this year's championship for Arizona.
An amazing quarterback is Trenton Bourget. And for the season, I think 38, maybe 40 touchdowns passing, and I think 6 rushing the football. So just putting up sterling numbers and close to 3,000 yards passing. He may have eclipsed that mark tonight, but very close to it. We have a score here. Josh Kramer, our director here, is telling us that Notre Dame is the opponent. I think Notre Dame was the 4 seed in the state tournament. They beat Queen Creek in overtime. So next week it'll be Cienega versus Notre Dame at a yet-to-be-determined neutral site. We can't broadcast that game on Bobcat TV because the AIA has broadcast rights with the NFHS network, although I am slated to call that game on play-by-play for the NFHS next Friday night. So you might hear me if you tune in, but I know they're going to make you pay $9.99, which is actually a good segue in for me. If you want to support Bobcat TV, we will gladly accept your tax credits, your donations, any monies that you want to give to our program. We've always broadcast for 10 years. We've broadcast as many sporting events as we can and have never asked for a dime from you, the viewer. So if you want to be charitable, we're approaching Thanksgiving. I'm thankful to be at Cienega High School. I'm thankful for this football program, which we are a satellite of. And I would be thankful if you would want to reach out and write a check for Bobcat TV or make a cash donation to Bobcat TV. There's certainly equipment that we could buy and ways to improve our program, and we're always looking to improve. So, any last thoughts, boys, before we sign off here?
No, I have to thank Bobcat TV. Donations and anything you can do. We have people who work very hard in this group. We meet every Wednesday at lunch to make sure that we have a key plan to make sure that you, the viewers, get a key inside look onto what's happening in the game, especially if you can't come to the game for any reason. So, I really appreciate everything that you guys do, and I think that we're gonna whoop them next game, and
it'll be a great game for sure.
It will be.
Looking forward to it. Jacob, last thoughts?
I think that's it.
All right, I'm going to thank everybody on the whole crew here. I'm going to go around the horn. I think Bella Cousins is back there. Oh, that's Caitlin Matisco. So Caitlin Matisco, Jory Paul, Eva Mackesy, Josh Kramer, who is our director, McVeigh Butler III, Jacob Greenberg on color commentary, Isaac Santiago, Nick Lear, Bella Cousins, Jillian Summers, our field reporters, and Isaac Santiago running camera for us here the last couple of weeks, new to Bobcat TV. I'm Jason Miller. I want to thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. And then tune in next Friday night. It'll be on the NFHS network. You've got to pay, I think it's $9.99 for like a month subscription. Make sure you get it and then cancel it. Or better yet, go live wherever that neutral site's going to be. Go onto our website at Cienega High School to find out the venue. The Cats, undefeated. The dream continues. The top seed in the 5A state tournament. They'll take on Notre Dame next Friday night at 7 o'clock at some neutral site. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Good night.